Recording. You know the drill. Here we go in 3, 2, 1.
This was ours. We ruled this land. We owned the night.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Core. This is Core for June 9th, 2022. I'm Scott Johnson with Bo Schwartz and John Jagger, and today is the day we do a show on Thursdays. We do it live, too, for people who are like, hey, I want to be there and hang out and be in the chat and say stuff. You can do that every Thursday at 5 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Bow time. BT. BT? We'll call it BT. Why not? Why does it have to be ET? It could be BT. You know?
That's the droid in that Star Wars game.
Oh.
Or no, that's the robot in the shooting game.
Oh, wait.
Titanfall.
Is it?
2.
Oh,
Isn't it?
Wait. Oh, BT. Titanfall. Yes, BT something. 2. BT2? BT. Maybe it's just
I don't know
BT.
his number. Doesn't he always call him BT?
Yeah, I think
Isn't
you're
that
right.
the actor, BT Simmons?
No, that's JK.
Yep.
Oh.
Which
He
is
wants
also
you to
short
drum
for
better.
Just Kidding Simmons is what he goes by. It's a terrible joke. All right. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about. We had a big presentation today that we were supposed to cover. We got other stuff. It's sort of fake E3 month and week and time because there is no real E3, so we have to do a bunch of fake ones, and we're going to talk about them. So sit back and enjoy. Games Fest. Summer Games Fest. Jeff Keighley's little joint. One of them. He does the Game Awards as well. Happened. And the reason you know that it was Jeff Keighley is because everybody that came on stage couldn't stop talking about how much they love Jeff Keighley. They love him. They really do. They just love him.
They owe him money. And they aren't ready to pay up yet. So
Yeah.
They're just saying what a nice guy he is.
Yeah, I did.
See, The Rock didn't owe him any money. You didn't see The Rock being like, Jeff Keighley, you're great.
And no, instead
The Rock
you saw
had more of a like, I am showing up for this shit attitude. Like
he was in the middle of working out. You could tell he was in his home gym, and you could tell that this is about the only time he's ever going to do anything like this is in between workouts. And he looks at the camera and he talks about 12 things that he wants to promote, including his freaking energy drink, whatever it's called, whatever it's called. I don't know the name of it.
Zoe or something like
He
that.
kept holding it up and saying you should have this and drink this, and then he talked about being in Black Adam, and they showed a trailer for it. And then briefly there was something about a video game. He's the Foundation. I don't remember what that was.
He's in Fortnite. There was a Rock Fortnite event.
That's
And
what it was?
apparently he's working on other things with Epic, but they didn't actually show anything.
Oh.
As far as I know, I skipped through a lot of it. I was like, blah 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 blah.
It's a very odd thing, I thought. Just the whole thing struck me as weird having him do that. But whatever, you got to pay the bills. Keighley can't do this for free. You do.
I actually choose to believe that this wasn't important enough for him to stop working out and make a formal. He's like, Game Awards, yeah, okay, I can do it between reps. Okay, here we go, and just let it rip.
He even said, "Keep on gaming" at the end, and I went, "Oh."
Yeah, that's what we say to each other.
When this show ends every week.
Yeah, it's true. Whenever when we were done playing V Rising before you logged off, I was like, "Keep on gaming,
keep on gaming,"
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah,
"Yeah,
keep on
Keep on gaming, guys. I got to go to bed. Just
That's
keep
right.
on gaming.
And while
Keep on
you
gaming.
are, drink my
I'm going
drink.
to choose to believe that he was completely naked through this entire video.
He could have been. He
and
didn't
that
show.
he's like that guy in Lethal Weapon. He does his morning workout, just completely nude.
Mm,
And they were like, "Hey, Rock, you got to do the Jeff Keighley thing." He's like, "All right, waist up, we'll be fine."
yeah.
I mean, it looked like it was his house, like his own personal gym, so he would be totally fine working out naked. I never did that. I wonder
be
if that's a
fine.
good thing or not.
He's got a little 6-year-old, so I don't know if he wants to be naked around all that. But he's he only showed himself shoulders up. He's definitely shirtless in there, and kept talking about how hot, sweaty, and stinky it was in there. So
some dads are, like that.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't say this on the show, but
do
I
it.
knew
Your dad
a person,
did. Oh,
well, not a friend of mine. It was a family where the dad was notorious for just hanging around the house naked, like the kids knew it and all that. And, it wasn't that he was. I mean, maybe he was pervy. I don't know. He was a nice guy, played instruments, but he was just a nudist. pretty much, like just constantly naked.
I assume this is how Flea
was a
lives. Like they probably had to make Flea put clothes on to be in Kenobi episode 1.
Yeah, like a Red Hot Chili Pepper. Like you're like, why do those guys like hanging around underwear? The secret is they like to have nothing, but they cannot appear on television without something. So hence the underwear.
They're like kids. Yeah. Kids don't want to be dressed either. They want to run around naked and hit stuff with sticks, and some of them don't change. I get that. Maybe The Rock is just a great big kid, and his sticks are barbells and energy drinks. I don't know. But he was definitely in there. They showed a bunch of games, and some of it we didn't know about. A lot of it we did. They even Jeff Keighley himself tempered expectations a couple of days ago by saying, look, we're going to talk about a ton of stuff. Most of it you already know about, but we're going to talk more about stuff you know about. So I just thought, well, this will be nothing but existing IP / games that were previously announced. We might get extra trailers, or maybe a devil come on stage and talk about it or something. But there wouldn't be much new. And it turns out there were a couple of big new things. The one I care the most about, I'm going to jump straight to because I'm selfish that way. And it's a sequel to a game that came out in 1992. A game which I stood in line at a Software Etc. for 3 hours to get, so they would open up. I got there at 6 a.m. and waited till they opened to get it, even though there wasn't like a rush on it or anything, but I wanted it so bad. Back then, it would have been the Sega Genesis version of this game, but the game is Flashback 2. Didn't see this coming, hadn't heard a thing about it, no idea it was in development. As soon as I saw some of the visuals before they don't announce it till the very end of the trailer, but as soon as I saw it, I went, wait a minute, something's familiar here. What is this? And it was obviously new engine, but still kind of side-scrolly. It just had a vibe, and I went, if that's Flashback, I'm going to shit myself. I said on the stream. And it's Flashback 2. Good thing it wasn't just Flashback, or I would have had to have shit myself. So I kind of got away with this, a loophole. But anyway.
And as we've established in the pre-show, that's a number 2.
That's a number 2.
AKA Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah, not a number. And that's not, I mean, listen, our pre-show today was pretty great. We'll probably have to animate that whole thing. Yeah, it was real good.
Tuco would say it was tight.
Yeah, Tuco would always say that. But anyway, a Tuco, take a Tuco. That's the other use. A tight Tuco. Anyway, so I see this news about Flashback 2. They give really no other information other than a trailer, but I'm so excited. I love that game. To me, that's one of the greatest tonal experiences in video games ever that I ever had. And I'm sure if I went back to it now, I'd be like, well, we've come a long way. And certainly we have. But long-awaited sequel 30 years ago. 30 years!
That I'm curious about, because part of what made Flashback so crazy back in the day was it was all, what was it, rotoscoping that they did to do the animation and all of that. Mm-hmm. So it had this fidelity and this fluidity of movement that seemed like years ahead of other things that were coming out at the time. But I guess what I'm wondering is, with Flashback 2, obviously that sort of thing isn't a novelty anymore. Mm-hmm. And like, it's kind of hard to tell what the game's going to look like, because they decided that the trailer should be projected onto other things that make it hard to see
right.
what it looks like. Mm-hmm. But looking at it, it looks like they're trying to very much adhere to that look, but with more, better graphics around it. Mm-hmm. And I am curious, like, does that novelty carry over where now it is almost somewhat comical, and it actually looks more artificial now? Mm-hmm. Like back in the day, that was like realism. It's like, this guy moves like a person. Mm-hmm. Now you look at it and you go, this guy moves like a robot person. Like something's up.
Yeah.
So I am curious what they do with it to kind of modernize it to make it exciting. Like, was the gameplay in Flashback pretty stellar too, or was it just about the graphics?
It was good. But it had a kind of weird rhythm to it that's hard to explain. I don't even know how to explain it now. I won't call it stilted, which is the concern, right? That kind of stop and pop kind of movements would maybe suck today. I mean, you've all played the original Prince of Persia, so you know what that kind of thing feels like. It's that. Yeah. I think
I'm imagining it's going to be like Shadow Complex, right?
Yeah, maybe. And in terms of like movement and speed, though, that's the question. It's a much more methodic, slow game, the original game. And so it's just so impossibly hard to tell from that trailer what that's going to play like. Like, I kind of hate that is so hard to see. They make it hard to see.
Yeah, yeah. I don't like that's always a worrying thing. It's like we're gonna launch this game 30 years later. It's so exciting. Let's conceal it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's project it on someone's body like it's a James Bond opening. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, they like to do that, and it's unfortunate because I think that deserved a little bit more of a look. I will definitely have my eyes open for that coming up though, because I want that to be amazing. But John makes a good point. You know, if it's stuck in that kind of, well, it's not really Flashback unless he's kind of slow and, you know, his spacing on the ground is sort of predetermined. So, you know, that's the way you could kind of do things in that game. You knew that there were like 10 steps from point A to point B. And it actually was helpful to know roughly what a unit of step was for the character, because sometimes you would have to run, crouch, grab a thing, and then run the other direction. And it helped to know that there were only those many step units and there was no weird variation. Modern games are all over the place with movement. It's not locked in like that.
Because of the Joy-Cons, you have graduated response, right? Like you can tilt it.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, there's tilting. There's like, you know, even just just regular old analog control stick is just nothing like we had back then. So I don't know. I have a lot of questions about it, but I'm just beyond excited. I hope they can nail it. Because I'm just a huge fan of that stuff. So that was great. So that easily like overshadowed everything else. Most of the stuff that we knew about, I'm skipping some of that in today's news, but we didn't know about Aliens Dark Descent, which is a thing about aliens darkly descending.
Oh, great. Yeah, I love aliens, and I like when they come down darkly.
Yeah, it's here's what we know. Actually, we don't know much. They didn't say much about the game at all. Cinematic trailer, you know, it's basically like an aliens movie, and I knew it was aliens the minute I heard boop 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 boop. You know, you hear the little thing tracker deal.
Yeah.
The Marines all look like Space Marines. Like it was clear they were doing something there. At first, I was like, "Oh, are we? Hey, are we getting a what do you call it? I can't think of the word. Are we getting an Isolation sequel? Because Isolation is highly regarded. People really like Alien Isolation. It's not that. We don't even know if it's a shooter. We know you shoot stuff, but
it's a twin stick shooter, 4-player like squad, like Helldivers.
Is it?
Yeah. There's a little bit. There's like 2 seconds of footage because I stopped it.
Yeah.
They show like 2 seconds of gameplay footage right at the end of the trailer. And I think I looked it up somewhere too. It's a squad-based, 4-player co-op twin stick shooter game.
Okay.
Top down. And so I'm like, yeah.
I'm kind of into that.
Is this the new trend for video game trailers? It's like the visual, like video medium of magazine ads. It's like, here's something that has nothing to do with anything, and 2 screenshots you can see down in the little corners of the magazine.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it's not a new trend. Blizzard's been doing it forever. They have this sweet,
it's really
sweet computer graphic trailer and no gameplay. It's normal.
Yeah, for them it is. Also, apparently for Frost Giant, it is also normal.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I didn't get to watch this. For anybody that's watching the video, I've got a bunch of boxes behind me. I just moved into a new house, so I haven't had time to really play much or watch much. But seeing reactions on Twitter and things like that, I heard a lot of people just being like, well, that was a nothing trailer. That was nothing. They didn't show anything. And so far, Scott's talked about one game where they decided the gameplay would be best shown reflected on 3D surfaces so you can't see a goddamn thing. And then Aliens, where they're like, let's do a movie, but if you pause really carefully, you can make out where the video game is somewhere in this.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah. The end of the game, or the end of the trailer, there is a brief moment of what looks like 3/4 top down. I suppose that's probably what everyone's referring to, and probably what the game is itself. The actor playing the trailer voice, I know this guy. You guys need to help me figure this out. I'm going to play this voice. Okay.
Play it.
Let's see if we can all together, we can figure out who this is. And I haven't looked further than this. So anyway, just see if you can hear it like I did. Okay. We got some intro here, a little bit of noise. Okay. 20th Century Games. Here we go. We'll be talking any second.
Sergeant Leo Alvarez of the CM Leth Recon Squad. Our mission was to enter the Tantalus base, locate the ComSat relay, and bring it back online. We found the relay, but there was a problem.
How do I know that voice?
I don't know. It does sound familiar though.
Oh my gosh,
Can we
drives me
IMDb
crazy.
this person?
Drives me freaking crazy. I've looked for it. I couldn't find it. If someone sees it, let me know, because I'm actually like legit curious who that is, because I think that's interesting. But anyway, long story short, that is probably a game I'll play because I love Alien and Aliens and all things Alien. And B, I like twin stick shooters. So what Bo told me there actually helps me. That actually improves my.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming it's not mouse and keyboard style. Because it's for console, right? You see the top down.
Yep.
I'm sure you're going to point. I'm sure you know what this looks like. This looks like The Ascent was a successful game. Let's make an Alien game that way.
Yeah,
that's what that looks
yeah.
like to me.
Hopefully better, because the Ascent had some problems.
Yeah, The Ascent was so much potential.
I know. I agree.
Multiplayer was jank, but the environments were beautiful.
Disco Biscuit 09 in the chat says, "Did Scott like Fireteam Elite?" I did. No one else did, so I didn't have anyone to play with, and that game is only really fun with friends. So I kind of popped off of it, but I like Alien stuff.
It didn't hit my radar. I mean, if I'm going to play Fireteam, I would rather just play Vermintide or Dwarf Game. I want to get back to those.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. Or
that's sort of where it falls for me.
Not Riptide. What's the new one? Darktide.
Darktide, which they showed some more of. It's starting to get hot and heavy with the.
Oh yeah.
We had somebody named Morgan on Twitter shared with us somebody saying, "So I played Warhammer 40k Darktide yesterday, and let me tell you, it's effing cool."
I'll bet.
Can't say any more yet, but looking to do some impressions next week. So, hey,
there's one
person telling you that's awesome.
Yeah. No, that's great.
So Morgan told you that?
That was a retweet from Skill Up, which is I don't know, somebody.
So it's a YouTube channel, I think.
Yeah.
Skill Up. There you go.
Skill Up.
The Get Good is what that is.
They played Darktide. We didn't get to.
It's
we will.
Darktide is totally my jam. I can't wait. Can't wait to play with you guys. It looked great. I love all the talk. Like, we got to get in there and get the orcs out before time runs. Like all that talk, all this dirty, rotten scoundrel level, street level 40K. These aren't freaking space marines.
Yeah.
These are dirty, disgusting Fremunda cheese looking bastards. Fremunda? What am I saying?
No, it works. Fremunda is good.
But isn't there Necromunda?
I come from a land from Munda.
No, what's the name?
I sounded like you knew what you're talking about. I was like, oh, this must be a group.
But there's
I will believe literally anything anybody tells me about Warhammer lore, and I'll just believe it. You could be like, there's a clan called the Sandwich Principle, and they're very strong. And I'm just like, what do they do?
Yeah. And then the Inquisitor Crucinot came out and pointed his boobies west, and that's all we need to know. Yeah,
it's all very believable.
It's all believable. I just really I thought that looked great. It looked dark. It looked gritty. It looked like Vermintide in the right ways. Like, I'm super stoked. So no. Oh, I couldn't tell if there's any
chain swords are in it too.
Yes, chain swords, bolters, all the fun stuff. I didn't hear any Salt Spire sounding dude, but that doesn't mean it's bad.
I think we can't. Salt Spire is a high watermark in gaming. You can't hold. It's an impossible standard for a game even the company to duplicate again.
I agree.
You don't try it again. You just let the people playing it pretend to be him, and now you have 4 wannabe Salt Spires in every match.
That's true. Oh, Necromunda. That's an actual city. That's what I was thinking of, not Fremunda. That's a reference to your chode or something. Anyway, so there's that. What else? Oh, they showed like a million Dead Space looking games. I don't know what's going on. This is the year of Dead Space. I guess 2023 will be the year of Dead Space ass video gaming.
Yeah.
And it's
I
fine.
wonder if it's there's something in the air about that. It's weird, but
isn't it? It's a little weird. Like some of these are old. Routine, the one that's about crazed robots, that one's like 10 years old, and it's just now surfacing. But these others, like Callisto Protocol, it's literally the dude and some of his team from Dead Space. Yeah. We have a Dead Space remake.
It's Dead Space 4.
Yeah.
You watch it, you're like, Dead Space 4. And then EA's making Dead Space Remake, which was not part of the show. That's also coming.
Yep.
Dead Space Remake, you got Dead Space 4 called Callisto Protocol.
Yeah.
And then I think Fort Solace is... So following Callisto Protocol was like, I'd be so mad. I'd be like, what?
I
Like,
agree.
and Troy Baker and I guess Roger Avery, these voice actors are really heavily involved in it. They were up there talking to Jeff.
Yeah.
I don't know if that game is survival horror in the same way. It seems story-ish.
Yeah.
I think the trailer just made it look that way, but I'd still be so mad because the Callisto Protocol just rocked its. You know, if you were to compare the two graphically and for scare, like at one point in Callisto Protocol, he backed up into a turbine and got sucked in, and it showed his body getting chewed up. Which
it's
would
amazing
happen in real life.
Yeah, it's like
so,
nothing I've ever seen.
And then Fort Solace or whatever. It's like he's walking up a staircase and there's a door. The door has a control panel. You're like, whoa, control panel. Like,
yeah.
Clearly, I think Fort Solace, is supposed to be like a story experience from what I gather.
Well, Baker on stage said that he was presented to him as Dead Space meets Moon, like the Duncan Jones movie Moon.
Yeah.
And that tells me that Bo's right, that it'll be a lot more sort of story-based stuff. But he did say Dead Space, so maybe there's some weird, mutant bullshit going on. Who knows? I don't know. But I
mean,
it's
hopefully
not
they're
the
saving
one.
some surprises. Dead Space, like that. This is his fourth time. Glenn Schofield's, heading up a team making a game like this.
Mm-hmm.
I think, it's a team with a lot of lessons, and they're making games in the same genre. So I think this is going to be if you like survival horror, particularly space isolation survival horror, then this is going to be a great. I'm playing this for sure.
Oh yeah, hell yeah! The Callisto Flockhart experience. Wait, what's it called again?
Yeah.
The Callisto Protocol.
Yeah, it's the only blemish so far. Is I think the title's so stupid.
Yeah, it's hard for me.
The title
to
isn't good. It's hard to remember, and also because every time you watch it, you're just like, oh, a new Dead Space.
Yeah.
And then you feel betrayed whenever the title pops up. You're like, this isn't what I was shown.
What's that Dead Space knockoff you were playing for a while? Dead Effect.
Oh, Dead Effect. Yeah. Yep.
They should have come up with something like that, like Unliving Space or something. Undead Space.
I don't know. I like the Callisto Flockhart experience. That's what I'm going to call it.
It's all right. It's all right. It's not that bad. I don't know. I like titles, especially to me, Dead Space is. It's like a Doom or a Wolfenstein. It's a franchise holder. Like you say, or Dark Souls. Like you say, Dead Space, and you immediately conjure up a very specific meaning.
Yeah,
space, survival horror, neat weapons, no UI or HUD.
Something on your back that just tells you how half dead you are and junk like that.
Yeah.
This is a little smaller. He's just got a little strip over his neck, like a little.
Yeah. They always put it in places where it's so easy to see, but at least in the case of like a prisoner, I guess maybe it makes a little bit more sense that guards would need to, I mean, in this world, I guess they care, know how well the prisoners are doing and be able to see like, oh, that guy's like half yellow. What's going on with him? But like, it always seemed weird to me. Like, it's such a cool thing to like hide the UI. Like, I like the conceit, but they always put them in places where the person couldn't possibly see it. Maybe they don't want to know. Maybe you don't want to know how healthy you are. You get hurt and you're like, am I going to make it? And they're like looking at your back tube and it's flashing red real rapidly. And they're like, yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
Oh, that's good. That's a relief for me.
Yeah, everywhere you go, you can be like, am I okay? What's going on back here? You're like 75%. You're fine. Oh, okay. Oh, man.
Whew, I was worried for a second. You just hear a high pitch beep.
It is it's
what
a funny
does that
conceit.
mean?
Yeah, it's a funny conceit that we're expected to sort of swallow, and it's fine. I like the no HUD, the whole like effort to make the game more.
I think the assumption is because they also have a hand controller that the user would also see it on a hand readout.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, the one I'm actually kind of interested in, despite the fact that it, maybe is a less than with Callisto Protocol around or Callisto Protocol, is Routine. This game was announced 10 years ago and then just disappeared off the map. And then it's now happening and coming out. I didn't know much about it then, but I know enough now to know that this is basically Dead Space, but the stuff you're after, the stuff that's after you, are crazed robots and technology. And if that
Routine
can be done right,
from like a subroutine, right?
Yeah, I'm into that. Like, I really like the idea of the machines losing their shit. And some of that comes from Alien. I like, the synthetics going.
And Terminator.
Yeah, Terminator's
well,
a great
that's what
example.
made System Shock 2 so good, was you got all of it. You got like a biological component, but then you also had a rogue AI that reprogrammed the whole space station, so you also got all the robots. I mean, Scott, we always make fun of your reactions to video games, but there was a video game when I played System Shock 2, there was a moment I crouched in a corner and as a player physically went, I can't play this anymore. I can't play this anymore. I can't. Because it was the idea was that they had reprogrammed the like helper bots, like your protocol droids, to basically just walk up and explode if they found you. And you could hear them talking. So I was just in this warehouse, and just throughout the warehouse, you just heard voices going, please come and assist me. I need to find you. And like just hearing them walking, and I just couldn't handle the stress.
Yeah.
I love System Shock 2. That game is phenomenal. I love space horror. Like, I agree it's weird that everybody is kind of doing this right now, but it's a genre I'm really into.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it either. I'm like, there's worse things in the world. It's a-okay with me.
Yeah, you know? I think I'm cool with it too.
Play all of them, but
there's some of the like routine looks like it'll scare the shit out of me. I don't think I can do it. I think I could probably. Callisto Protocol feels like we're all going to be playing it, so I'm probably just going to need to play it. But none of them are making me feel good about it. You know what I mean? Like they all look scary as hell. And they showed some other scary games. It was a lot of horror games at this event. Like just in general, they had the deepening fear, whatever the hell that's called. I forgot the name.
There's layers of fear.
Layers of fear, which we knew about before, but they showed more. It looked crazy.
It's a weird title, like
It is weird. Well, they're Polish, and I'm not saying Polish are weird. I'm saying their titles might be
the
that's
translation.
Not what I heard.
Yeah. What? The Polish aren't weird?
Yeah.
No, Poland, they're great. They got cool developers and all that stuff, but there's so many of these games that were just like scary games, and I didn't expect that. I don't know why, I just didn't. And they're all coming together. It's like the year that everybody had a bow. And you remember that? It was like, here's Lara Croft using a bow, and here's the first, not Forbidden West, but the other one, Horizon Zero Dawn. She's got a bow, and every game had a bow. And then this next year, I feel like every game's got a space horror game twist in it. So anyway, there's that.
I guess we see like the decisions made to chase trends, and then years go by, and then you're like, why is all this happening? I think you got to look back 3 or 4 years ago. Maybe they all identified, hey, there's no space survival horror. So they got to work, and now they're all in.
Now they all do. I think you're probably right. The Games Fest was a place they decided to show way more of the new Call of Duty. Now, hear me out. I'm not saying I want it or care about it that much, because I don't really. Call of Duty and I have, sort of parted ways in terms of whatever. But I will say, really impressed with this new engine they're putting everything in now. And this is new. They've unified their engines across Warzone and the main games. In this case, Modern Warfare 2. All your boys are back, including a couple of new ones. But you got Ghost and what's his name? Not Pickle. Who's mustache guy? Soap's in there.
Price.
Yeah. Soap. Ghost, Alejandro.
I want one of these guys to be called
I don't remember his name. They all have dude bro stuff.
Pickle's a great name for a soldier.
So they brought them all together, and that's some of the best voice matching, talking, lip syncing stuff I've seen in mocap. It looked really nice. The lighting's insane as usual. I mean, it's a new gen thing, so of course it looks good. But what impressed me was that water in the boats is dynamic, so it's not predetermined. Your boat could get jerked left or right depending on what you're doing at any given time compared to another player. Wave race style is the only example I can think of.
Wave Race 64.
Wave Race was so good. So you'd have some emergent possibilities there. Also, there's a scene on the deck where all of the containers on this container ship are shifting all over the place because of the storm. And that's really new. Like just cover moving, whether you want it to or not, is really a trip. So there's some neat stuff going on here. I think I'll probably play this campaign because I want to play that story, and I think Price is great, and I like Soap, and I don't know. Those guys are all great.
This is an up-res of the original Modern Warfare 2, right? So it's that story again.
No, totally new thing. New campaign, all of it, yeah. They're reimagining everything. So that first...
Well, that's good, because I was going to say, Modern Warfare 2 was okay, but I remember it being incredibly short, and it had a cliffhanger ending.
Oh, yeah. No, totally different story. and all of it. Same with, the 2019 one was Modern Warfare. That was a reimagining too. That was not the same story. Totally different story.
Oh, okay.
Also pretty good, pretty damn good. But yeah, this is as far as my interest goes, really. I mean, the multiplayer, I'm sure, is just like it always is. The Warzone 2.0 stuff is just this engine, but Warzone stuff. Some people are mad because they said current Warzone people will be able to stay in current Warzone, which is their big battle royale free-to-play thing. But if you want to play Warzone 2.0, it's new gear, new everything. It doesn't move over. So if you were hoping for some, continuity there, you're not going to get it. But yeah, it seems neat, and I would like to play this campaign. So count me in for now. We'll see. And also don't be 400 gigabytes or whatever the shit happened last time. That was so stupid.
Don't have to download the entire thing to update.
You're showing the gameplay footage while we're talking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so like, graphics have gotten so good. It feels almost like I'm watching a over the shoulder cam of an actual military operation. And it's kind of kind of disgusting. Like it doesn't. I'm not like, oh sweet military. I'm like, all those people had families and they're all dead. like when I'm playing Doom, I'm killing hordes of demons and stuff. I don't give a shit about their family. But like it's just there's like a guy whose gun is jammed. He's like sitting on the toilet. He gets up, you just shoot him, and it's like, oh, that's.
Yeah, no, it's dark. I mean,
I like that experience.
Currently, given the state of things with the gun discussion in this country, but also just. I don't know, modern weaponry being what it is, it definitely hits different.
I'm just saying, like, it still looks like a video game, and I know the difference between the both, but it's just, there's no, you're not going to get any giant ogres or cool enemies. Like, it's all just, it's people fighting other people.
It's just dudes.
Rich people in their capitalist or imperialist power games.
Yeah. It's dude bros killing
I just hate military shooters so much. I know you like it, but I'm just like,
see,
this is
both
depressing.
Sounds like me, Scott.
You guys sound like each other.
It's like borderline depressing that this game, like, they make so much money and all. Like, anyways, it's fine. I'm not judging, but it's
I know what you mean.
As I watch it, that's my reaction. Like, this is so depressing.
I know just what you mean. They're about to actually in this video jump into this boat and then go over to the other boat, and this is the water tech that impressed me. So from a technical standpoint, it seems like a real step up for these guys. So we'll see. Again, I don't really care. It's another Call of Duty, but this one sure is pretty.
Hey man, they're successful for a reason, right? I mean, you might hate them or meme on them or whatever, but they sell a lot. They've got good gameplay and good.
Yeah, Microsoft's about to own them. So that's cool.
Haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate. Yeah, Taylor Swift taught us all. Haters gonna hate.
Yep.
And also tried not to get diarrhea. All right, she didn't say that.
Diarrhea.
All right, moving on. Let's move on to this one.
Yeah, Taylor Swift had an Edmonton Oilers after she wrote that song.
So, how do we feel about the Frost Giant announcement? Because I was like, that was my biggest bummer. I thought they'd show something.
Know. Okay, this isn't Blizzard, right? They don't have all the. I know the trailer was not hot.
I should say the name. It's Stormgate, by the way, is the name of the game. Yes, I thought the trailer was fine. It was just a trailer.
But I mean, honest reaction, you're not like, holy shit. This isn't Legacy of the Void. This isn't. It's a indie studio, not indie, but a smaller studio branched off from ex-Blizzard devs from Team One.
Yeah.
They're making some kind of an RTS. I think we wanted to know more about the game, and we got zero of that information from this. Yeah. Except we know there's a human mecha faction and a demon faction, and that the animation was okay. This trailer did not blow my socks off in any way. So I just feel like I'm still waiting for news about the game, essentially.
Yeah, we did learn from the dude on stage that it will be free to play, but he said this out loud. He goes, "There's no NFTs and no pay to win," whatever that means.
Well,
the no pay to win part can be interpreted different ways. So we'll see. But
yeah, Diablo Immortal's not pay to win. I mean, so many people defend that.
Yeah,
that slot machine all the live long day.
Yeah, the free to play means you got to make your money, and I don't know how these guys plan on doing it. They didn't get into those details, but the pedigree here is strong, and there's a real chance for something rad. I just was sad that we didn't get to see a game. I mean, we're getting some background lore, and that's, I guess, okay, but this just was Spaceman 101 stuff, and I don't really know You know, ooh, I got the shield with the crystal in it. Sweet. Oh, a giant. On the show or on the stream, I called him Zergoblo because he looks like a Zerg and a Diablo guy.
Yeah. There is some derivativeness from it. Doesn't feel like its own thing, you know? Like, yeah, I don't know. But the most exciting thing was that their little robot buddy sounded like Probius, like a probe.
You totally sounded like Probius, yeah. I got a major, what's the word? Protoss vibe out of that. And then when the mech showed up, I went, oh, it's what's her name from Overwatch? She's gonna peace sign and
no, it's like a Goliath, or not a Goliath. What's the name? There's the Transformer jets in Starcraft.
Those look like Diva though. She
looks a lot. It's too smooth like Diva. It looks like a Diva skin, you know.
Sure,
which is fine. I like Diva. Diva's cool. But
it's just earlier when we were talking about, you know, cinematic trailers, you guys, I mean, I think rightfully joked like, hey, John, Blizzard's been doing this for ages where they show a cool cinematic trailer and there's no gameplay in it. But the one thing Blizzard does do that I wish these former Blizzard devs would remember is that usually those cool cinematic trailers are followed by a gameplay trailer, or at the very least, a long talk where they go, this is what the game is. And here's the answers to the questions you might have. Because, I just watched the trailer that you guys saw, and I gotta say, that's not that impressive to me. Like, if you're going to sell your game on purely a CGI trailer, it needs to stand a cut above everything else. And not look like a watered-down version of things that already exist. And I know for a lot of people this isn't true. It is for me. Maybe I'm just an outlier on this. But when someone gets up and proudly proclaims, we're free to play, immediately I check out. That is the equivalent right now of people going like, we're supported by NFTs. I'm like, oh, I don't care then. Like, it's the same thing when someone says, our game's completely free to play. I'm like, oh, maybe I don't care.
So a lot of people
I'm not interested.
A lot of people did do gameplay on Twitter and like posted about it. Like they invited people in the community who responded favorably to it, or at least tweeted favorably about it. I agree though. There's some gameplay screenshots on the Steam page.
Oh, there are. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's top down. Graphically, it looks really nice. But I don't. If it's an RTS, I think it is groups of units. I don't think it's going to be a MOBA, but maybe it is. It is still hard to tell. Like John's comments still like absolutely stand. Like, well, they show gameplay.
They keep saying it's the future of RTS. So if the future of RTS isn't MOBAs, then it's whatever's after MOBAs, because MOBAs already have the title future of RTSs, right? I would say effectively.
I think if you're using the word RTS, you're invoking like. You know, Greg Street made the astute point that all MOBAs are RTSs. It's just you have one unit. It's easier. It's more accessible rather than hundreds.
Yeah.
But that esoteric view aside, I think if you're invoking future of RTSs, you're saying, look out, StarCraft, we're coming for you.
Yeah, that's what I would think. And these guys have what it takes. I do think these screenshots are beautiful. Holy crap. The
screenshots look good. Like I don't think they have a cinematic team, so I think they still wanted to make a cool trailer, but I think this is still going to be a cool game.
They probably farm that out, and that's okay. They're this isn't Blizzard; they don't have the pockets, but they've got some investors, and they're doing okay. And I hope they do awesome. I really want to see what they do.
I guess I just wouldn't count them out based on this trailer, although. I think based on this trailer, I would count out a lot of games. Like it's not the best. Like, let's be honest, it's all right. It's
okay.
If I'm thinking about, am I excited for something based on this? Like, this won't do it if I don't already know what it is I'm looking at. I guess like
it's a good way of putting it.
I know they're making an RTS, so my view is biased or compromised in that sense because I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm willing to accept it, but someone else might be like, huh?
You know what's interesting? If I blow the logo up for Stormgate and I cut and I crop it just right, you could convince me that I'm looking at a cropped Starcraft logo because that font is pretty freaking close. It's very Starcraft, that stuff. So that's fine. That's where they came from. Let them evoke some old stuff. It's fine. Let them be who they're going to be.
We haven't had a new when does Starcraft come out? It's been like
2010.
Yeah. So
12 years.
2010, I guess. If you're gonna, if you're not gonna release new StarCraft content in any meaningful way, then you're
Yeah.
Like other people can riff on you. It's like this same year we had 3 different survival horror games. Like, okay, it's been like a decade, Blizzard. You're not doing anything with it. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. I always remember this. The same couple of months, even in 2010, Starcraft 2 was released and Civilization 5 was released. Since then, Civ 5 had 1 million DLCs and a new game and 1 million DLCs for 6.
And a season pass.
And all we've gotten out of StarCraft is, I guess we got 3 StarCrafts, but by the time
we got 3 StarCrafts,
by the time
if you play StarCraft 2 today, you have a whole lot of game to play.
It's a lot, and it's awesome. It's one of the greatest. I'll say it. I think it's the greatest RTS ever made. I really do. Like it's fundamentally top of the heap, but they just iterate so slowly that I don't know. I would like to see these guys pop out and go, look at Stormgate. What do you think? And then have that work on free to play somehow. I'm concerned about that.
Mean, I kind of hope they do, because in theory, StarCraft 2 is free to play now.
Yeah,
you can log in and play arcade co-op commanders, and then they would sell. I would hope Stormgate would sell campaign packs and have campaign, and then PvP is a free to play ladder.
Yeah,
that's what I hope.
I do too. I have high hopes.
I was playing StarCraft 2 weeks ago. It's great. It's still a highly playable game.
Yeah. Co-op commanders is one of the most fun things in a real-time strategy game I've ever done.
Yeah,
it's so good.
It is good.
So good.
It'd be great to see this game equal that somehow. Not just copy it, but do something as cool. I don't know. We don't know enough about this game. It just says casual, competitive PvP co-op modes and campaign. The future of RTS. That's all they'll say. So watch and see. A couple more quick things. I wanted to make a point or a comment about Diablo because there's a lot of talk in the chat about it. Diablo Immortal, the campaign in Diablo Immortal, the story, is not pay to win. That is just play to play it. I messed around with that a bunch more this week. The game is, you can buy shit.
What level are you at?
Level 30. On the current character, 38, 40, something like that.
My understanding is there's a Ding Desert somewhere. Because
there will be after the story,
games,
right?
It's a Ding Desert.
Yeah, but after the story, my understanding, and I could be wrong, but my understanding is after the single player experience, they put you in grind gear, PvP, PvE raid mode, and that's where your desert comes from.
I again, without first-hand experience, I don't know, so you'll have to tell us, but I think at some point during the campaign, you hit a Ding Desert.
Oh, interesting.
Pushing you. The games are designed to get you to that point where you're like, let me play more. There are 10 different zones. Are you sure you're close to finishing the game?
Oh, I'm not close to finishing, no. But
you're going to hit a Ding Desert. They know what they're doing. I think you will tell me if I'm wrong, but you're going to hit a point where you're like, oh, stuff's getting a little hard to kill.
Well, that's my whole point is I just don't want to, I want to put this out in the ether that as harsh as we were on Diablo Immortal last week, and I think we were honest about our opinions and we said what we meant to say, and I don't take any of that back. But what I wanted to make clear was from everybody I've talked to who has gotten that far, they don't talk about the Ding Desert until after. The campaign was meant to be, hey, here's your fun thing to play it, and then when you finish this story, off you go, and how you deal with that is up to you and your wallet. And I'm not saying that is good. It's still kind of, at that point, it's pretty predatory, but the stuff before that, you could make the case that they made a game you can play through, and when you're done, if you want to be, you can be done. But if you want to keep going and keep on that level hunt and that grind and that whatever, and then raid with your friends and be caught up with them, then you're going to start getting into that territory.
I just think the discussion around Diablo Immortal is weird. I think it's gross. Because, it sounds like people... I don't know. Have you ever known anybody? I called it Supermaning, but I think a lot of people have a different name for it. I think everybody has known a person like this where you go outside and you go, it's a little hot today. And you have a friend that goes, it's not hot for me. And you're like, well, thank you for that contribution. That's very useful. I'm glad you're so strong and so powerful. Or, it's chilly. I'm not cold. Oh man, I'm just feeling tired today. I'm extra tired. I didn't get any sleep. They just feel the need to just throw an additional on top of anything you say. And the conversation about Diablo Immortal feels like constant conversations with that person, where it's like, I made it this far, I didn't pay any money. Oh yeah, well, I made it this far, I didn't pay any money. I made it this far, I didn't pay any money. And it just sounds like a bunch of people patting themselves on the back for having willpower. And it's also a little gross because, like, when you think about the people that it is working against, not all those people are being taken advantage of voluntarily. And that's the part that gets a little iffy for me.
Right.
And I was thinking about it the other day, and I said, like, if I had 2 sets of parties, right? And I invited 300 people to each set of parties, and I told 100 people from each set, you're the designated drivers. Under no circumstances drink, because you got to get these other 200 people home. Like, that's your responsibility.
Sure.
And at one party, I told them, hey, within legal reasons, do everything you can to get everybody to drink. Do you think all 100 of those people would be walking away sober? Like, no, absolutely not. They would not. People would give in to peer pressure. People would give in. I think the party where if you told another party, like, hey, whatever you do, make sure they don't drink, like, actually go out of your way to prevent them, I still don't think 100 of those people would succeed in being a good designated driver. It's the nature of people. So whenever somebody comes out, and I said it last week and nobody got mad about it, so I'll double down on it, with the stupid take of, I didn't pay any money. Okay, then you're not part of the problem. Like, congratulations, we're not talking about
I
you,
guess that's the message, right?
Kudos on you for thinking everything was about you. Congratulations.
All right. Yeah, let me add one thing to this.
I agree completely.
I agree with that too. I just want to add one tiny thing to this, and that is that so sorry, it threw me a little bit because that made me laugh, and now I forgot what the frick I was going to say. I was going to say this also scales horribly, because what you just talked about with 100 people is hard. With 10 people, maybe you'll pull it off. With 2, you can probably handle you and your friend, right? So these lower numbers totally can handle it. We're talking about, look, any given time right now, we are 7 days of no COVID ever again. 7 days away from never having it again. How would that have to happen? Everybody isolates everywhere for 7 days. At scale, it's an impossibility. We could have been done week 1 when it was discovered, but we can't do it. You can tell everybody to do it, but if they don't all do it, then COVID persists because it's highly infectious and jumps everywhere.
How does all diseases work?
Exactly. All diseases. We could kill them all.
They all work
not
this
all,
way.
Not all
kill
of
them all today by staying isolated.
All infectious diseases work this way. You're absolutely right. And if we had a way to do that at scale, it'd be gone. We'd never hear about it again. We'd be done with it. But because we can't do that, it never will. That's the mentality John's talking about, and he's 100% right. 100 people in that bar, there's no way all 100 go home sober. No way.
And I'm not trying to tell people they can't go and enjoy Diablo Immortal. We wanted to talk about our opinions and our experiences last week. I didn't like the game. I didn't even get offered anything before I was like, I don't like the way this game plays, and checked out. If people are enjoying it, you know what? Go out and enjoy it. But Blizzard doesn't need people like vehemently pushing their product. Their product is already taking advantage of some people. They don't need you on social media jumping into every conversation to pitch in about how you successfully avoided microtransactions. Like, play the game, enjoy it, and don't help Blizzard push it on other people. Like, they don't need it. They don't need your support. They don't need your love. Just
crack sells itself, boys.
Like, if you had a good time, say it's fine. So you had a good time. Like, that's a fine discussion. If you want to tell me why you liked Diablo Immortal, I really don't want to hear it. But I'm sure people want to hear it in general. And I just don't want to hear about how you avoided spending money. It's like people telling me how much poison they were able to consume without dying. It's like, grats, I guess. Kudos, GG, well played. Like, stop trying to play this weird game of one-upsmanship with each other. Just, did you like the game? Yes or no? And
play it.
If you're susceptible to those sorts of practices, avoid the hell out of the game, because
it's out to get
does
you.
Predatory things.
Yeah, and if you're enjoying it and you're not being you don't fall for that stuff, and you're just playing it for the game and you're getting all you want, great, good job. Good
No,
job.
I don't think good job. Like, so I think you're getting farmed for logins. Like the
Yeah, but
point,
if
like
you're enjoying the game, it's just like you could say that about Heroes of the Storm or any other game. Like there's
So-
different levels of monetization / predatory behavior. But if you're somebody who's just like let's say a casual drinker, you're going to go into a bar, you're going to have one or two, and you're going to leave, and that's just how it is, and you're not drawn to do anything more. And I agree that it's there's an immoral thing happening on the extreme end or the more extreme end, but.
Right.
I don't think it's fair to say to those casual drinkers, don't come drink. But I agree with John that I don't want to hear from those people going, well, I went to a bar and only drank 2. Well, I went to a bar and only drank. Okay, great. You're not the problem. Like, I agree with that 100%. But I don't want to besmirch these people that want to have fun and just play. You know?
No, you do, because that analogy breaks down at a certain point. There's another aspect here, is that the minority, someone's paying for it. Like, your free ride is not a free ride when you play this game. So you don't actually get to go in and say, I played this game for free, so I lucked out, I won, I'm smart. Someone's someone's footing the bill for your meal.
Yeah.
And those people that are footing your bill for your meal are getting taken advantage of. So I don't know if this is more of an American thing versus socialist Canada, socialist Canadian up in the house over here. All right. But if I get a free thing and I know, Doug down the road's getting nailed in the balls with a hammer for my free thing, or, paying $1,000, then I'm living on someone else's handouts. If you guys don't like handouts, why are you playing a free-to-play game that other people
you know what?
are
No, I
footing the bill
can't.
for?
I can't argue with that. It's actually a really good point.
So you are not absolved. That's the same thing as that whole, pushing a button. If you push a button and someone dies or is tortured on it, you're kind of okay, like that experiment.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. The point is not you're immoral for playing it. The point is they're immoral for making it. And you cannot absolve yourself as a participant in making games shittier just because you played it for free. And I've done it. We've all done it. It's okay to admit that we're doing something that's not great, right? Some people drink more than they should. I smoke. I shouldn't smoke. The proper thing here is this is not great for gaming as a whole. And you just got to be honest about it. That's all.
So I guess my question to that, because I that's actually really a good point, and it's hard for me to argue with it. So I say point bow on this, but I just wonder, like, when I'm, the only way I was going to get to play my favorite MOBA at the time was to play Heroes of the Storm in the way it was presented to me, or if I really liked the Fortnite, it's the way it's presented to me. I don't have another option. I have other gaming options, and even those, you could probably tie some predatory activity to whether it's crunch or something else about your $59 one-time payment as well. Mm-hmm. It's what does a gamer do as the industry lurches into this? They're not just tipping their toes in it. They're going this direction in a large sense. So what do we, what is one to do so that they feel like they're being as morally representative of people they don't know, and that without, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I'm
not saying stop playing it or make a protest, because that's what people turn into. Well, you're playing it. No, it's just call a spade a spade. Like, I'm a smoker. It's terrible for me. There may come a day when I hit my 50s or 60s, I fall over a heart attack, could have 20 more years of life. I make my bed, I sleep in it. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, yeah, smoking's fine, and all these people tell me not to smoke, a bunch of idiots. It's like, yeah, I'm an addict, and I acknowledge it, and it's bad, and tobacco companies are predatory. I don't have anything nice to say, and I won't tell anyone to do it because it's stupid, and it's a stupid thing that I got myself addicted. And that's what I mean when we talk about Diablo Immortal. We have to talk about it in proper terms. It's designed as a way to hunt whales, like to release money for low value. And if you're someone who's playing for free, you don't get to say, I beat the system. You get to say, Doug down the road bought me a free lunch. Thank you.
Yeah.
And there are people, there's stories, people have borrowed money that doesn't belong to them. They've made gambling addiction is already a vice that can just be a silo, a one-person thing. There are people who get into spending holes. And this is provably what is funding this type of game. And 61% of the market, that money is not coming from Don Jr. That money is coming from someone who works 40 hours a week and maybe could buy a little more diapers, but is spending a little more money on hilts and shit in some dumb game, rather than we loved consoles when they first came out because arcades would bleed us for money too, and it was nice to buy a console and have your game and just own it. And that's what we want gaming to be, ideally. That's a good system. And crooks have now taken over because they see infinite yield off farming the people via the internet, through NFTs, through blockchain. Now they're just they don't care. They're mindless machines trying to extract revenue, and they're going to sit there and rationalize to themselves, yeah, this is okay, this is fine. They don't see the damage they do to people, and they say, well, it's a free country, personal responsibility, etc., etc. So we can't stop it, and if we're doing something bad, we just have to acknowledge we're doing something bad and live with it, and still say it that way.
Where do you
sort of like we've had this discussion, with all the Blizzard stuff that happened of, if you want to say I don't want to support a morally questionable company, congratulations, you can do almost nothing anymore. You've eliminated your ability to work within almost any structure. We're streaming on Twitch. You're listening to this on a device that was manufactured by a company that probably didn't do great business practices. It's the nature of things, but it's not about necessarily making a protest. There is an element of pick your battles, but it's not about going, well, I'm not going to participate in anything. It's about, I think Bo's right, at least acknowledging what's going on. It happened to me yesterday on a small scale. I was telling my wife, I was like, we were talking about Pokemon Go, which is already, here's an exception, a mobile game I play.
Sure.
So there's me being a hypocrite. But I was telling her, I was like, yeah, people are upset at that game again. I don't really know what, because I haven't been playing it that much. I said, but she said, well, when we move, do you think there's going to be any Pokemon Go out there? Because we're kind of we were in a hub kind of where we were before, but now we're farther away from the city. And I said, I don't know. I don't care. I'm honestly, I might delete the app. I don't know if I care. And she goes, well, just check. And I found out there's a Pokestop, like literally outside. I can swipe it from my house.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, and I immediately started playing. I did a complete turnaround from, I'm going to delete the app, I'm going to take a stand, I don't want to be a part of this world anymore, to there's a Pokestop outside. Oh, like immediately turned around. And that is human beings. We are walking contradictions half the time, and expecting people to stand by 100% of everything they sell at any given time, it doesn't make a ton of sense, because we don't know what we're doing half the time. So, I think it's fine to play Diablo Immortal, but I think it's weird to try to pretend that game isn't something that it is.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, I mean, so this is the problem, is it's getting really philosophical, and I'm starting to think of things like credit cards. I have them, and I've always been proud of the fact that I never carry a balance. I always pay them off immediately. And that builds credit, and that credit helps me with other things, but also it's a great convenient way for me to pay for a thing. And I know that process is on the backs of people who cannot control that, people who are in horrible, hideous 21% per month interest debt on credit card bills. And I'm over here going, yeah, I pay mine every month. I'm that guy in credit cards. The same thing goes. So I'm not the whale they're looking for, but I benefit from the whales. Same thing happens with, I mean, if you want to get out of the money for a minute and just talk about time, have video games always been this problem? Like when I was playing WoW until 4 a.m, like that wasn't,
video games are all addictive. Like
it wasn't good for me.
Addictive. So yes, video, like it's in the DSM. I believe they've added it in the DSM-5. Video games, anything that gives you pleasure is addictive. Sex, you might be like, I kind of have sex once a day. If I don't have it, I'm fine. And you talk to a sex addict who's like, I can't get my life under control. You're like, dude, aren't you done when you're done? Like, I need Chinese food and a cigarette after I'm done. I need like 48 hours to recharge. And I only was at it 5 minutes. The sex addict's like needs it 50 times a day. Yeah. And, like we don't get it because we don't have that, but we all have a proclivity for pleasure. Addiction has nothing to do with drugs. It has to do with your reward system being poorly trained and malfunctioning. With the pleasure and a novelty reward system triggering deep learning. It's part of our survival mechanism. So it gets corrupted. And it can happen not even with money. The point, like I've said, like subs are okay. cosmetics are okay. Like I'm willing to live in a free to play world, but when you tell me I have to upgrade my item, like I think I said it to you when we were playing V Rising, is I just don't want to think about my wallet when I'm immersed in your video game. I want to think about it before I buy, or if I'm going to buy a little DLC and add on, but I don't want to be thinking, oh, I need a gem upgrade. How many hilts is this? When's payday? Can I afford $20 in this game this week? Like, I just don't want an experience like that. And I think it brings down gaming as a whole. And I think it's because this has been happening for a long time, but this is Blizzard, and Blizzard is a quality first company, and this is not quality first game. This is not quality first gameplay. And I would argue this isn't the first time Blizzard's done it. Battlegrounds Mercenaries is awful and disgusting in this way as well. It's just, I want to be immersed. I think people want to be immersed in the world, and I'm sure they're willing to shell out for the games they love. I've spent thousands of dollars in Heroes. I don't have a problem with whaling even necessarily, but the tactics in Diablo Immortal are so below the belt. They're hitting ball, like they're kicking your vagina, or they're kicking your balls. Like that's the point I'm trying to make with Diablo Immortal. I'm saying it's a shit game because there's going to be sales tactics. We're not trying to save the world, but they're they're kicking your gonads, and that's against the rules, you know. And when literally the first sales thing, when you finish that first level and they want you to buy 60 gems for like $1, and they say great value, you literally can't buy anything with those 60 gems. So they just want you to put money in your game for fun. And you may have been smart enough not to do it, but Blizzard has the list of people who are dumb enough to do it and go, oh shit, I can't buy anything. I better buy a second pack so I can afford something. That's below the belt. That's kicking balls. That's kicking boxes. Like you were offside. This game is offside on the monetary side. So
yeah, fair. I think
Judge Bo presiding. I've delivered my verdict.
Those are all fair points. I think
I play Wild Rift. I play Cattle. Cattle's black is pay to win as hell. We play these games as John said. It's not that we're above them. It's just we think higher of Diablo, and they're hitting below the belt.
Well, this is why. Let me make this part clear. This is why I'm having such a hard time with that game, because on the one hand, it's at odds with itself. Because on the one hand, I can tell that very talented, smart, passionate people made the game part of it. I can tell. It's a labor of love on one side of this thing, but it's running in parallel with this weird freaking money suck thing over here, and it's had to make crossovers and like figure out ways to mesh these two worlds, and these two worlds feel so contradictory. Because what we're used to is this side and going, yeah, look at this. I can't believe how good this plays on a phone. Look how pretty it is. Oh, my gosh. This is great. I can't wait to go on my next mission and do my thing. And then over here, like, best deal, $99. Here's a buy some things where you don't need them. Like, it's at odds with itself. And it's at odds with itself in a more notable way than any of this stuff has been before. Everybody else's major IPs mushed down to a mobile phone. We don't get in big conversations like this. Why? Because we expect it out of, I don't know, Call of Duty or freaking a million other things where they go mobile. We're just like, oh yeah, of course that's a big money suck free to play nightmare. Go have fun. Like we don't even think about it. But when Blizzard does it, plus add on top of that the biases we have over the years of our devotion to their games in the past, suddenly we're like, oh my gosh, could this be a starker contrast of what I want out of that company? Just like beautiful, wonderful.
It stands out more, I would even argue, because like Blizzard certainly doesn't have the sterling reputation in my brain that it used to, but Diablo is still a game that I see and I think, oh, I should like that, right?
Yeah. It's
like if somebody showed you a delicious slice of pizza and you took a bite of it and it tasted really gross and awful and not at all like pizza, you'd be like, wait a minute, I don't understand this. I'm supposed to love this. Pizza's supposed to be good. And I think we have an element of that. Somebody shows you Diablo and you go, I'm supposed to like Diablo. You play it and you go, oh, but I don't know if I like all of this. There's things in here I don't enjoy.
It's dissonance.
It looks like the thing I like, sounds like the thing I like, but it's not 100% the thing I like, and that's weird. And I think that's why it gets so much attention. But, the other thing you'll hear a lot of, I haven't spent any money, and the other thing you'll hear is, this is just what mobile games do. I don't know why you're all surprised. There's an element of truth to that too. Like they've been doing this for a long time, and Blizzard's getting into this business because it's been effective for a long time. And as staunchly against mobile games and all of that and the practices of it as I am, I've been a victim of it too. I don't even want to venture a guess how much money I've spent on a couple mobile games in the past, because a couple of those practices worked really well on me, as it turns out.
Yeah.
And it was at a time in my life where thankfully I could recover from it.
Yeah.
But it's a rough bit of business. I am curious though, this might be too big of a conversation to just tack on here, but I was thinking about it. We've talked about Game Pass existing in the same space as selling the full price game on Steam, right? And how it's weird that both of those things work. You'll see available free on Game Pass, but it'll also be the #1 selling game on Steam in the case of like Halo or something like that.
Sure.
And it makes me wonder, like, do you think that we could potentially have, and obviously nobody's making this, but do you think we could live in a world where someone goes, hey, here's a free-to-play version of this game with all the microtransactions, and we're going to get you whale stuff, all of that, but there's also a version that you can spend $60 on, and we've stripped all of that out, and you get it, and that game be successful?
Well, I mean, this exists,
like doubly successful.
This exists
like,
in some ways.
People.
In some ways, this exists, but it doesn't. I don't know about doubly, but I know it exists in small ways. Like an indie team will have a game that's supported by ads and microtransactions. It's a golf game on your phone, as an example. I've done this, and they'll say, "Here's the game as presented. If you want to play it for free, you can, and we're going to show you an ad every once in a while. Plus, you're going to maybe you want to buy these things, or for $6.99, you can buy yourself out of all of it and just buy the game, and we'll give you everything that you would normally have to micro for. Here it is." That can work depending on the game. The problem is these games, Diablo Immortal, every gacha game I can think of, they've got this like endless itemization thing going, where gems are needed to buy a thing that are needed to build a thing to make a thing better, and they can't give you all the gems in the world. So what you're asking for is contrary. Like, I don't think tomorrow they could do like they did with the Real Auction House and rip it out. I think tomorrow they would, if they said, we got to change this, guys, we got to suddenly make this just a retail product on a phone and sell it for $30. I mean, I'd pay it in a heartbeat. But there's a ton in there that suddenly is just throw it away. You just throw it away.
They're doing seasons. Like, all those purchases will be nullified when the DLC comes out, the new zone comes out, new story stuff. Like, that's how Genshin operates. Genshin has new characters all the time, has new gear.
Oh yeah, you expect new classes. I mean, I'm sure that's the plan.
Like, the idea is you spend yourself into a tizzy, and then all that stuff is devalued because the next content comes out, the next wheel.
Yeah,
if they're doing it right.
So what I would,
it's not just Diablo Immortal released. It's like,
yeah,
this is patch 1 of 50 patches you can expect.
What I would prefer if they would do this is, like, I would pay whatever the price is. Let's say it's $5.99 a month to sub to Diablo Immortal in a full, complete way. So it is just the game, and I'm paying a monthly fee to access it. And if I cancel it, I no longer have access to the full version of the game. I might get some rinky-dink free-to-play version of it, but that's now saddled with all these microtransactions. Like, I would do that, but I don't think. Here's the problem with them doing that. Even if they did that or did the one-time buy, I know they know, everyone knows, based on data, like raw data, they will still make more money from the micros than they ever would if they went and made this just a full retail game.
Yeah,
they'll continue to make the full retail games. Like 4's happening, and it will happen, and it will be a retail product, and you will buy it, and they'll probably have a little periphery crap you can spend more money on if you want to. I mean, that's what DLC is. That's what, they get the maximum
notes
version.
On Lost Ark, I'm telling you,
they better not.
For sure they are.
4?
For sure.
They better not. If they make me pay $60 for that game and then go full Lost Ark
You're
with
probably
it.
going to play a retail. Blizzard charges retail. You're going to pay a retail, but they gave us a lot of free content in Diablo 3 seasons with the Nephilim Rifts. That was a testing ground for the future.
I think there's logic to that. You know what I also could see them doing? This is a bit insidious, but I can kind of see it. So they do a lot of cross promotion, right? You buy the new Diablo game, you get stuff in your other Blizzard games. Like, you buy the new Warcraft game. Here's your mount in WoW, and here's your pet in Diablo 3 and all of that. So what if Diablo 4 comes out and they go, hey, get this exclusive item in Diablo 4 if you buy the new season pass for Diablo Immortal?
Yeah, I can
I
see
can
that.
see that sort of stuff coming into it.
Yeah.
You guys know about the Boon too? You know how you get daily login rewards?
Ubuntu. It's a great version of Linux.
There's a boon you can get. Okay.
A boon also.
There's two subs. Like in Diablo Immortal, so you get daily login rewards, right? You get some space points and shit. You can pay a different sub than the sub not the battle pass thing. You can pay a sub to get extra rewards.
Yeah.
But if you don't log in, you don't get them. So now you're indenturing yourself. Like, people pay me to show up 5 days a week somewhere, not the other way around. Like, they also have it in there where you can pay to get more rewards, but you don't get your money's worth if you don't log in every single day of the month.
Let me tell you
it's so mind-blowingly bad.
Here's a simple example of what this would be like if they did it to a game that you love. For example, we're playing V Rising, we're all loving it. I can't believe I love a survival game. We'll get into that later. But I really like it. Free to play in that world would mean all the stuff we're doing is great. Do all the stuff you do. But guess what? Those blood essences, you're only going to get so many. And you want to buy more? We can give you 100 blood essences for $4.99. That's going to last you forever. Go get those. Go get those blood essences. And now, oh, thank goodness, because if I don't, my castle's going to decay because I can't keep my heart running. So my castle heart's going to need some more blood essences. Oh, shit. That would be horrendous, and I would leave that game in a heartbeat because, once again, my immersion is completely ripped in half. It's me going, oh, great, we got to buy those now, or just wait time for them to fall, but look at my castle, it's falling apart. Instead, that game says, no, go out and get them, kill stuff, kill those people, farm that town up the road, and while you're at it, get some stones, you need more of that. Like, the in-game job and in-game hooks are great. The minute you say, well, sorry, stone's not respawning for 4 days, $9.99 will get you a whole bunch of stone.
Yeah. Or to respawn faster for the month. Yeah. When you bring the real world finances, when you got to think about what's my budget now, it ruins immersion. Forget the angelic psychological issues if that's too much for anyone to ask. Just on a taste. You know, when you play a game, whatever, think of your most immersive game, a little pop-up telling you to put quarters in ruins it for you. And we killed arcades for this. I mean, we can just go back to arcades, and arcades at least are great. You get to go out somewhere. There's lots of lights. Arcades are beautiful. This is so low effort. It's just on your phone. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and even then, when I was getting yanked for all my quarters with like NBA Jam, that game was taking advantage of me. That was a predatory machine.
At least you were going out. Like, there's something about the going out culture. Sure. Like, you go to a bar, you're overpaying for alcohol. You're paying for the venue. It's expected. They're not even giving you a brick and mortar place to go to. They're like, yeah, stay in your home, you schlub. Like, we're not going to pay for a building. We're not going to pay for a nice experience for you. You're just going to give us money for basically no reason.
To me, it's like a Stephen King book. I love his books. When they come out, I read them. And it'd be like, hey, we got a new book. It's called Bloody Tooth Jim by Stephen King. Get ready to have the time of your lifetime. Oh, you've good job. You finished third chapter. If you want that fourth chapter, though, you're out of energy. So if you want those little energy beans, I mean, you
cannot read anymore today. I feel like that's what inspired it.
Yeah, no,
or you can actually get. I'm like reading a book, and I'm like, I am out of book reading energy. I need to lay down, and tomorrow I can read more books.
Yeah, but there's something.
Imagine not being able to shop in the premium meat aisle of the grocery store without a boon of meat.
Best value, $100. You're going to need, and it's always just a few more gems than you can afford with the simple $10. You got to spend.
Imagine walking to the grocery store. Hey, do you want to buy the Welcome to the Grocery Store package? We'll give you 50 grocery points for $1. It doesn't buy anything, but you got 50 grocery points.
I mean, these sort of tactics do exist in all sorts of marketing, but I guess in games, here's where I stand. I like a free-to-play game whose business model is cosmetics because two things are happening. I value those. And good, hard, creative work is being done to produce them. It's a fair transaction. So Fortnite, as much as I don't care that much about Fortnite, I appreciate how Fortnite makes their money. I realize it can still be a problem for some, but you are really getting an exchange. You're getting digital assets in exchange for your money, and you get to keep them. The same thing could be said for Heroes of the Storm. I feel like that was fair. And I also feel this way about subscriptions. Bo's kind of already said this, but subscribing is you're providing a service and I'm paying for it. A Game Pass, Netflix, whatever it is. And as long as I'm enjoying it, I will pay you the money. And if I don't, I'll cancel it. And now I don't have access to it and I'm not paying you anymore. It's a fair transaction, both starting it and ending it. This other thing is not that. It's something else. And it's not just Diablo Immortal. Immortal is like making this conversation a bigger, brighter discussion because it's just happening now. But this is that whole mobile business. All of it has gone this way.
People are not going to like that I'm picking and choosing maybe, but I also think it's better in esports than in ARPGs. Like, this is the problem I had with Sea of Thieves. That game's premise is that you're a pirate and the accumulation of wealth is what you're doing. So the more wealth you have, the sweeter boat and material goods you have. You're a cooler pirate. Makes sense.
Sure.
But I can just go to the store and drop $20 and be the coolest. I'm like, what's the point of playing the game?
Yeah. You pay real money. If you were a real life pirate, you'd have money, and
they pirated me.
These sweet pirate things.
Yeah. I'm like, you directly undermining the game, and that's why I say when you play WoW, when you play these RPGs, the gear tells the story of your progression. And if you can buy the gear, what am I earning gear for? Just for esoteric stats? Yeah, like looking at it is part of the sweet immersion factor. So I in an esport, it's fine because you want to look stylish on the field of battle. The games last 30 minutes. It's not part of progression. You know, your skill and your story is told on the scoreboard and in the replay and your performance on the field. The ARPG space, it's like that's a fundamental gameplay that has psychological meaning for people. So you're making a worse game. Like, at least in my opinion, you're making a shit game if I can buy what I was willing to work for in the game. And the stuff you can buy is better than the armor. Like, the stuff you can buy for $20 in Diablo Immortal is better than what you'll get from gear drops. Well, the whole point is I'm looking for gear. So why don't I just open the game, buy gear, I finished the game. It's great.
Log
off. Like,
you know, Diablo Immortal. So you're the best.
Yeah.
So I don't think it. I don't think it. I don't like it in ARPGs because ARPGs, the game genre itself, is about the accumulation of items and item science, and it shouldn't be tied to a wallet. So I will always give it a 0 because I don't think that that's appropriate for that game genre.
It's part of the reason why, and you know, understand what I'm saying versus what I'm not. I am interested in Marvel Snap. That's not an endorsement of it, but I did watch a video where Ben Brode was talking about we don't want you to just be able to pay your way into having all the cards. There still has to be a game and a collection and an element to it. And there will be a way to pay for advantages. I don't know what that means. I have no idea. It could be predatory, probably will be, might not be. But I think it is compelling to say there is still going to be a game here to play, as opposed to like what Bo's describing, where it's like, oh, well, I put money and now I win. I did it. Look it.
Congratulations.
I'm at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
I feel like this is turning into a therapy session.
Well, in some ways, it is.
Because, I mean, we live with this and we end the show and then we go to social media. We have a lot of people. Nothing turns people into more lawyers than this type of discussion, because immediately you talk about it and then this is my Twitter, and I'm exaggerating for comedic effect, but it turns into, okay, Mr. Jagger, if that is your real name, you claim that you don't like mobile games, but you have spoken on many occasions that you play Pokemon Go. Explain yourself. How is that not a predatory game? I'm like, it is. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes we do things that we don't necessarily endorse at the same time, but everyone feels like it's a big, aha, I gotcha moment. Like, and that's just not how it works. Like, this is all over gaming. That doesn't mean we need to be okay with it, but that doesn't mean that we have to 100% abstain from it either.
Do you think Stormgate's going to be an okay game then?
No, I don't.
I just wanted to bring it back a little bit to the.
Yeah, no.
It might be, but as soon as I heard free to play, I was like, it's probably not going to be my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have to be like really into the concept to be into real-time strategy as is, because I'm just more of a turn-based strategy guy.
Yeah.
And so when you say real-time strategy, I'm like, okay, well, it's a genre I've liked before. And then you go, and it's free to play. I'm like, oh, it's not a genre I like. Hold on.
Yeah. It is how do I put it? When I was when I lived in the 90s, I was alive in the 90s. I would rail against.
Good.
Well, I would.
I was there.
Yeah, I was there.
It wasn't that decade I was dead.
No, I wasn't dead then.
Before I returned.
Before I died, I thought that RTSs were the future and the most amazing thing ever, and I actively made fun of my friends who played turn-based games. I was like, "That's lame. That's grandpa game. Let's not play that. Let's go play this." I have so completely turned around, probably because I've gotten older myself, but I don't. But
it's understandable because turn-based is easy.
Well,
right?
It's not just easy. It's
programming real time is like, whoa.
I always thought it was boring. Real time is fast and exciting, but turn-based was back then I thought was just boring. Now I'm the opposite. Me just wrapping my cursor around 15 Zerg and sending him over the hill doesn't do it for me anymore. What does it for me is going, all right, well, this guy can only move 3 spaces, and he's got 2 extra action points, which means I probably should do a grenade because those guys are, like I like that now. All the extra thinking I have to do, and I get to control the pace. I'm not smashing it. Just saying, you really got to blow
the
me
other
away.
one.
Look, I saw Patrick post that video of that guy building in Fortnite, and it was a stark reminder of why no build mode was made, and it's for my old self to be like, I can shoot with the best of them.
I don't like it.
I can't build that fast.
It's not good. Yeah, and chat room says, well, now that you're a grandpa, I am. I got a little grandson. Maybe I was right the whole time. Maybe.
Hey, you're playing a survival game too.
That's true, and I never thought I would care.
I'm playing survival games, and Chorecore. I think sometimes, and we've done this long enough now. There's stuff that doesn't look appealing to you, but it's just because the right iteration has been presented. Yeah. So I think a lot of there's a tower defense game that out there one of these days. That you will like.
I had somebody make the argument it's already happened. Because Scott, you like Vampire Survivor, right?
A lot.
It's a tower defense game.
No.
The only difference is you're the tower.
Yeah, but you're moving. That matters.
You're talking about V Rising? V Rising is tower defense?
No, Vampire Survivor.
Vampire Survivor.
Oh.
Yeah, the old freaking...
You got waves of enemies that are all going towards a singular point. Your objective is to stop them from reaching that point.
But then Geometry Wars is one.
Upgrades.
I think Vampire Survivors is too low quality to qualify as tower defense.
Look, I'm just saying.
I don't
chat
think
made this argument, and I liked it enough to throw it in.
No, it's a fair argument. But if that's true, then I've always liked moving tower games because I love Geometry Wars. I love
Heroes
Asteroids.
of the Storm is a tower defense in that case too.
Yeah, they all are.
True, it is. Yeah, you got to defend multiple towers across several lanes.
Yeah, Doom is a tower defense game. Quake is a tower defense game. Like if we want to get that, the way we define it.
I think very specifically, tower defense means there's a path that people are moving towards your base and you build things in some variation.
Yeah.
Because I'd say they are billions. It's definitely a turtle game. It's just a Starcraft turtle map as a whole game, but it's not tower defense.
I like turtle games as long as no one's attacking me. See, people always think, we like to turtle up in a...
But it would just be like a city builder. It's just city skylines or something.
Yeah. And just to clarify, when I play things like Age of Empires 4, which is awesome, I really like it. How I do that is I turn the AI on the easiest possible setting. I make them a dumb race I don't care about. No offense to anyone from, whatever, Aztecs or whoever it is. You
didn't name anybody. No one's offended.
You're right. I shouldn't have said it.
Start naming people.
No, I shouldn't have said it. Anyway, so then the goal is I turtle up like crazy. Though they attack me, but they're dumb and they don't know anything. They're on the lowest level and they're barely hacking at my walls and they're just easy to take care of. And that's my turtle game. That is not tower defense. Tower defense is stationary towers that you have to upgrade in some way and do shit with. And even games where they make me do all of that and then get down in the scrum, like the what's the one where Orcs Must Die 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Those games are pretty cool, but I always fall off of them because at the end of the day, it's tower defense. I hate it. Freaking hate it. So anyway, that's a whole different conversation.
Anyways, but yeah.
So let's talk about High Water.
Yeah. Stormgate looks great.
You know how I said, by the way, and I threw it away. Hold on. I said that there were two things I wanted to mention.
All right, I need to go deliver at Edmonton.
Okay, this is really fast, though. This is really fast, though. Before you do your Colorado Avalanche, let me do this real fast. So we said, get the pre-show patrons. I said, a quick take on the Diablo update. That went into a long conversation. The other tiny thing I was going to say is the new Coke Starlight flavor. I got the zero version.
Yeah.
Really good. That's all I wanted
to
say.
Is that based on The Boys? Is that a product
I like it too.
The Boys?
It's supposed to taste like space.
I wish there was a drink called Spoit. Oh my god! Knock off Sprite.
No, it tastes like it tastes a little like it is. I don't know what to.
It literally says on the can space flavor.
Yeah, it does say space flavor, but I would say it tastes like kind of a cream soda kind of vibe is what I get out of it. It's pretty good. I like it. So
I feel like everybody who's tried it has said it tastes like something different. I've heard people say toasted marshmallows. I've heard some people say candy.
I've heard one guy say spoit, and I don't know what to make of it.
Yeah, it tastes like spoit. It tastes exactly like spoit. You probably haven't heard of it. It's pretty rare.
Well, Bro's gonna go make his own.
I gotta
spoit
go release Anaheim Mighty Duck.
Yeah, and we're gonna be right back, everybody. So don't go too far. Give us 5 minutes to pee and that sort of thing.
Walk around the house and look and see if my wife and son were home or if they had already left.
Yeah.
And then I did a number 1. Going back to what we talked about before. If Bo did a number 2, he did all that in the amount of time for me to just walk around and do a 1. That was a quick 2.
It was a quick 2.
Yeah.
Well done, Bo. Oh, he's muted. Muted 2.
He's muted.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. It was a torpedo, guys.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
It was prairie dogging, so
there's no
didn't take long. It
was ready to go. The car was packed.
If my butt was Star Wars, all the guys would have loaded the missile into the thing. It just needed someone to press the red button.
Yeah, it was an Edmonton Oiler is what you had there.
Yeah.
All right.
I wasn't oily.
we're back,
it was
everybody.
More of a I don't know, Winnipeg. No, not a Winnipeg Jet. That's diarrhea.
I don't know. Wait.
It was a Montreal Canadian.
Yeah, it was a Canadian. There you go.
It was a Canadian. I dropped a Canadian.
There you go. Very nice. All right, we're back. We're back after the break. We were going to talk next about a little game called High Water, and I wanted to just at least mention this one. We don't know much about how this thing plays, but I thought it looked great and want to know more about it. It was basically kind of water world theme, but in little indie title. And from what I can tell, you're a dude on a raft who survived a huge flooding of civilization, and civilization kind of ended. And I don't know what you do after that. No idea, but I love the art style, and I like indie games, so I'm in.
I immediately thought of you when I saw this. I'm like, oh, this looks like cute Waterworld.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I don't know if the cute aesthetic would. I was curious to see if you'd like it or not, because obviously everyone looks like they shopped at the Gap. Like, Gap's not closed in this world. Like, you can still go to Banana Republic and get an outfit. But
it's cool. It reminds me. It's just got a very like I don't know what to compare it to. I really don't. It's like cell shading without the lines, kind of low poly but pretty. Like, I don't know, hard to describe. It looks really cool.
By the way, we lost a listener. Porto Johnny's girlfriend, he was introducing to the show today, officially bowed out as of 2 minutes ago.
Oh, they're
too
gone.
much poo talk. They pushed it.
We want come back. We're just having. It's a theme week.
Yeah, we said to pee. It was all number 1 the whole time. Well, anyway, there's that game. Also, Last of Us 1 full remake coming to PS5 and PC. I thought they were kidding. They're not about the full remake part. Like, ground up.
They didn't wait long. Usually there's a lot more years or games before.
Well, I mean, this thing's 10. How old is this? 10 years now? 10.
It was a PS3 game.
Yeah, 2013, originally. I think. 2012. So yeah, I think it's exactly a 10-year anniversary of the original game, which is what they're remaking. And the comparison stuff they showed after they announced it actually looked pretty legit. I was impressed with that. And they figured out a technology to use all the original performance capture, the original voice stuff, all of it, but they built all of this up in their current engine that they use for Uncharted 4 and for Last of Us 2. And it sounded like maybe even some of those, what do you call it? Life. What do you call it when something's good for your game? Life. Quality of life improvements.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I couldn't think of it. That will make the game a little more in line UI wise and other things with Last of Us 2. So I saw that and went, "Oh, John will like this. He'll be excited."
That's good. Honestly, I think that's good for you, Sky. I think you should give those games another try, especially if they bring that stuff in, because Last of Us 2 genuinely was Last of Us 1 was a amazing narrative experience that you kind of had to force your way through gameplay wise.
Yeah.
Last of Us 2, I think, is a legitimately very good stealth game with all the same narrative trappings around it. So if they're bringing that in line, I mean, that's good.
I agree.
And I think that's fine. It's a testament to how good that game looked that I was not blown away by the up-resing and it's not up-resing, the redo, I should say.
Yeah.
It looked better in most ways. There were a couple times where I looked at something there was one where they showed a picture of Joel, and obviously his face gained more fidelity. It was a better model, but his shirt went from, I could almost tell you what the texture was of the shirt to it just looked fuzzy. I was like, well, is that intentional, or that seems a little weird? But that's kind of nitpicky. So I don't know. But if you're gonna show people an A and B, they're gonna scrutinize. Hey, here's the side by side. You're gonna go,
Yeah.
But
you just said what I was thinking, because I was like, oh, we're going in. This is like Heroes' Hands.
A little bit. Yeah. Heroes' Hands were the best. Oh my gosh, I love talking about Heroes' Hands.
Bad.
I missed that.
So bad.
They're really bad.
They ruined it. Heroes ruined a lot of video games for me because it made me focus on the hands of video game characters. And let me tell you, I feel like hands don't get enough credit for how difficult they must be to do well, because so many times I see hands in games and I just go, oh,
it is
bad.
a hard. I think there is
bad.
something there to that. They're hard to render. They're different digits. They all got to work together. Yeah,
they do lots of things too that we just can do.
Yeah, and back in the old GTA days, you just had stumps going like this. Yeah, I'm Freddie Rossetti, and I'm going to do a mission or whatever his name was.
It used to be a dumb thing I would do is I would pull the label off a iced tea so that you just had the glue where the label attached on one side, and I'd stick it to my hand so it just stuck to the side of my hand, and I'd go, "Look, I'm an N64 character."
Oh,
and just
my
walk
Lord!
Around with a drink stuck to the side of my hand.
That's pretty good, actually.
Let me tell you, it's the pinnacle of humor, really.
Yeah,
I was never funnier than that moment.
I don't think I feel like now that I've heard it, I can't. Humor's done. We're done.
It's a visual gag, but it would definitely make the mashup.
It was really something. Well, anyway, that's coming. They also talked a little bit about the multiplayer standalone game they're making. It's no longer an add-on, which is, I don't know how I feel about that. Except it does seem like it's really fleshed out. Like it's not. It's its own game, set in San Francisco, same world, same era, and multiplayer focused. There will be both co-op, PvE stuff, as well as, hey, let's fight each other stuff. It didn't sound like it was going to be, all this talk today, it makes me nervous about every game having a bunch of shit they want me to buy extra or whatever. But it sounded like just a game. So no more info on that, except they had one screenshot and it looked kind of cool. Also, Spider-Man coming into your Dirty Nights. What's it called? Monkey
Marvel Moon? Midnight Suns.
There it is.
You know what, Scott? You're going to play this game.
Oh, I know I am. I'm stoked. I can't wait.
You're disregarding it, but you're going to play it.
No, I'm just me forgetting names. It looks great, and I was pissed that it got delayed to next year, but I'm still looking forward to it. It's the old XCOM teams. It's for Access. Those guys have never misled me, so bring it. I'm ready. Although I don't know about Venom with horns. That's a weird vision. But whatever. This is based on a comic, right? It's based on some run.
So was Hulk. Venom with
Hulk
horns was weird, but at least Venom can change his shape. Hulk showed up with horns, and I was like, what am I looking at?
Yeah.
It's the demonic corruption.
Yeah, that's
demonic
what happens.
Corruption. That's,
Now,
it's fine. I think it's fine.
Let me sound stupid for a second, because I'll bet you guys know more about this than me. They call that lady Lilith. Uh-huh. She is obviously a character that everybody uses all the time for their shit. because Diablo 4's got a Lilith. She's all not horny. She's got horns and is demonic or whatever. Here's another demonic lady. I've heard of this many times. Is there some mythology I'm missing? I don't remember any of this growing up. Like who's?
I think
it's
isn't it from Dante's Inferno?
Isn't
that where Lilith is from? I could be wrong. But usually when there's some biblical thing that gets referenced a lot, that's where you're looking.
Okay.
Lilith is a female figure in Mesopotamian and Judaic mythology, alternatively the first wife of Adam, and supposedly the primordial she-demon.
Whoa.
Oh, there you go.
First wife of
Lilith
Adam.
is cited as having been banished from the Garden of Eden for not complying and obeying Adam. Oh, so she was a bad wife.
She's Eve?
She's a bad wife. She's a woman that didn't know her place. She-demon.
So wait a minute. She's supposed to be Eve gone south?
No, she's
like proto Eve, but she wasn't. She was the
first wife of Adam.
She wasn't a good enough wife. So
Adam and Eve were not the first two humans. Lilith, I think, came before, but she's a demon, so probably doesn't count.
What? Right? I didn't know this at all. This is
well,
all
it's
new
not
to me.
In Christianity. It says
it's
Mesopotamian
in the Bible
and Judaic.
2.0. You just had to upgrade. If you
know
were a
about this.
free Bible reader, you didn't get to read the extra chapters. But if you paid for the Bible, you got additional.
Okay,
stuff.
so she's got a bunch of stuff around her that makes her compelling as a video game character and also a comic book villain in the same way they do Thor and junk like that. So it's not that weird for Marvel. But I didn't realize any of this. I didn't know this. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, it's kind of. I have to look into it more, but it sounds shockingly like just patriarchy. Like it's just she was a bad wife.
Okay.
She didn't complete. I get it's just a line in Wikipedia, and who knows, but Lilith is cited as having been banished from the Garden of Eden for not complying and obeying Adam.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I
don't like it.
Adam was like, I like my dinner before 4, and she was like, well.
I don't cook dinner. I'm a modern woman. I have a job.
Shit in the other Adam, and next thing you know, she's the mega demon.
But didn't this happen with? So Eve also disobeyed him and made him eat the fruit. Or no, went and ate the fruit when she wasn't supposed to. Came back and went, "Hey Adam, you want to eat this fruit?" Hey, he's like, "No, we're not supposed to." Are you like, oh, damn it, you're another Lilith, aren't you? This sucks. I already went through the first wife.
That means Adam didn't learn his lesson. You can't use that excuse because he already survived his first wife. The second time, God's like, no, you do. You fucked up. Like, whatever. You're out. You're out of Eden. First time, you got to pass. You're a man, so I assume the wiles of women and all that. Second time, out.
That made me laugh. It's too good.
But mark the F-bomb. Sorry, guys.
Oh, you're all good. Spider-Man is in this, is the point we were trying to get at. Spider-Man's in your Marvel Moon Knight monkey. What is it?
Nope, Moon Knight not in it.
What is it?
Not yet.
Monkey, or what is it?
Midnight Suns.
Midnight Suns. There you go.
Yep.
I can
Midnight Monkeys.
I never remember the damn name, but it is, I felt like that was a given. We'd see Spider-Man, and he's in the comic book, so why wouldn't he be? Bring it in. Devolver also did their thing. They announced games in the fall of the following. We're not going to get into these too much because I've barely seen them myself, but Cult of the Lamb, which I think we kind of knew about before. That's getting closer.
Yeah, I've seen stuff about Cult of the Lamb. It might even be early access or something.
Yeah.
Or I think I just saw a video.
It looked really good. That still looks good. Angerfoot. That looks great. Super into whatever the hell Angerfoot is selling.
The sequel to The Land Before Time.
Oh, great. Oh, like Littlefoot, then Angryfoot. That makes sense. Yeah. So this is the one, you've probably seen video of this before. It's foot view, running through, kicking the shit out of people with your foot. It reminds me of Hotline Miami, but in first person. That's the vibe I get from it.
Okay,
man, some video
that
now.
Kick is high.
It is really high. Well, it's, Angerfoot.
It's angry. If you see how high your foot goes when you get angry.
Yeah,
I'm angry all the time. Kids? My foot doesn't get that high.
You're high.
You're like, my foot can go higher, kids, if you don't clean your room.
Speaking of
my
rooms,
dad used to say, "I'll kick your ass up to your shoulders if you don't behave." He would literally say that to me. And I used to pick. I'm like, wow, that's a hard kick.
It's going to hard kick.
All the way up here.
Speaking of that, there's this game called the Plucky Squire. This seemed interesting. Artsy adventure game. Character jumping out of written pages, explore a vast 3D world.
Awesome.
Yeah, looks neat. Looks like a neat game. Listen, Devolver has yet to publish.
Insanely cool. Oh my god.
They have yet to publish a game that I don't like. That is
they really
the
got
truth.
something going with that whole crew in terms of creativity, right?
Yep, they do. Like this drinking. Sorry, the Card Shark game that I'm still playing. Oh, look at that transition off the page. That's wild.
I bought Card Shark. I haven't started yet because I'm addicted to V Rising, but I'm looking for.
I bought it as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't played it yet either, but I
But
did get it.
this game, the Plucky Squire, it looks. Wow, it's neat.
Yeah, this looks really neat. I didn't expect the jumping off the page business. That's cool.
Oh, playing on a mug.
Yeah, that's rad.
This game looks awesome.
Then their
That's
skate
a
story.
wish list.
Skate story seems interesting too. Actually, everything they showed looked good. So, I'll probably get all these. They've got me by the whatevers. Even though I don't really like.
They just don't miss. It seems like.
Yeah, I mean, I really can't think of one I haven't liked in the history of the publisher. Everything I've ever played, I haven't played them all, but most of them I've played are just really great games, especially lately. Just really neat takes. I don't know how they find these games, how they align with these devs. They're usually small devs that they hook up with, and they must have an eye for. I don't know how they do it.
But they must be able to coordinate good resources for them too. Like it isn't just like, oh, you're a small time dev. Okay, make us a game and we'll ship it. They must be really supportive of just for them to be able to release things that are as like they're really high quality, like
Seems like, yeah. It's really cool.
Skate story.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I know, look at that. Isn't that crazy? Looks like Tony Hawk, but in like Tron World.
360. That's a sweet 360 flip he did too.
Yeah. We used to skate. You used to have a zine. You know what's up.
Yeah, Weedazine. Yeah, no, but I know how to. Yeah, I kind of miss it. I'm just a little scared to go skating again because, like, if I fall, it'll really hurt.
I would pay money.
Yeah, that's
not 18
true.
anymore, but like, I kind of want to buy a skateboard.
I would pay
Go through the
money
whole
to watch
midlife
you do
crisis
that.
thing.
I want to watch you skate. You got to make this happen. I'm serious. I want to see it.
I'm so jealous of how much more abuse we could take when we were younger. I was trying to be lazy and lean over in a rolly chair to pick something up off the floor, and I fell from like almost touching the floor height to the ground. I hurt for like a week after that. I was in so much pain. I was like, why?
Yeah.
Why is this my existence?
Don't forget, I threw my back out for 3 solid days. Couldn't get out of bed. Had to pee in a cup because I bent over to pick up a shoe. So we're old. That's the deal.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for the stories today. And boy, big interstitial in there with the Diablo stuff. Hopefully that help add on to what we said last week and give a bigger picture to kind of our takes. And we'd of course love to hear what you have to say. But right now, it's time to jump into Dear Martha territory. Yeah, that's right. We've been doing these retro magazine letters as a bit of a respite from the Steam reviews, and today's no different. John, I see we have 3 here. Just go for it. Are you ready?
Yeah, we have 3. We're going to have the return of Spicy Martha,
Sweet.
which is exciting for the first one.
Yeah.
We are going to have a Martha response on the second one, and then we'll just do a regular letter for the third.
Yeah.
And this is all coming from GamePro issue 142 from July of the year 2000. 22 years ago.
22 heady long years ago. Here it is.
My dearest Martha, how exactly does the gaming industry lose millions of dollars every year because of piracy? If someone buys or rents a game and copies it for all their friends, the gaming industry isn't necessarily losing money, it's just not getting money. Yours in this life and the next, Deuces Wild 22.
Deuces Wild. Missed that guy. All right, so is it Spicy Martha we're playing?
Yeah, this is Spicy Martha.
Oh, I can't wait. All right, here she is.
My dearest Deuces Wild 22. What is this? A trick question? Honestly, at first your letter seemed to make no sense at all. But after reading it several times, it became clear that you could use some of the millions of dollars that the game industry doesn't lose to software piracy to buy a clue. Yours forever, Martha.
She's so spicy. Oh my
Wow.
gosh. I wasn't
Wow,
expecting that level of spice. She's spicy. All right, number 2. The big number 2 coming at you.
Yep, here comes the number 2.
Yep, here you go.
My dearest Martha, is there a reason why I can't rent Dreamcast games at Blockbuster? Being able to rent games before buying them is one of the best aspects of the industry. Without it, many people are reluctant to shell out $50 for a game. Yours in this life and the next, MKCTX81.
Wow. MK. Like Mortal Kombat, probably, right? That's probably what he's dealing in. He's about to yell, "Get over here." All right, here's Martha's reply.
My dearest MKCTX81, when the Dreamcast launched, Sega struck a deal with Hollywood Video to debut the system in that retail chain. Oops. That may be why you couldn't rent Dreamcast games at Blockbuster in the past. Sega and Blockbuster have recently made up, however, so you should now be able to rent DC games at BB. Yours forever, Martha.
Why did she was a little spicy on that one, just a little.
Yeah,
not
just
too
a
bad.
little, just a little commentary in there, but not too judgy.
Yeah, like
just
a little medium
hey,
spice.
Go check it out again.
Yeah, she's medium spice is what she is in the Spice Girls. All right, here's the third and final.
My dearest Martha, I've had it with the media and government types who hype violence in video games with claims that games like Doom and Quake cause kids to kill people. 2020 ran a segment on video game violence that essentially stated that kids are ignorant when they say games don't cause violence. Well, sir, I'm not ignorant. It's sad when a nation places the blame for its child-rearing problems on pieces of plastic and electrical impulses. Some games are very violent and gory, but parents should teach their kids the difference between fantasy and reality. When I was little, my mom and dad made sure I knew video games, movies, and stuff like that were fake. Parents shouldn't use video games and movies as babysitters either. They should take responsibility for guiding their children's lives. Yours in this life and the next, Ben W.
Hear, hear, Ben W. He's absolutely right. He didn't get an answer, though.
This is shades
He
of...
did get an answer. I just didn't read it because
Oh,
it was
okay.
long and not as entertaining.
Yeah.
It is shades of, I can play Diablo Immortal without spending money. Like it is shades of that.
Yeah, kind of.
It's like, I was raised right. Why can't you? Why isn't this person raised right?
There's a little bit of that going on, but timely stuff from Martha some 22 years ago, 2000. Who can forget? All right, moving on to we haven't talked about what we played this week, so now it's time to do it. We can have the V Rising discussion now, kind of across the board if you want.
Yeah, let's do it.
I didn't
we
really
all
play
played
anything
it.
else.
Yeah, I didn't. I played mostly this. V Rising, I was very skeptical about this or any other survival game. Like Valheim did not click with me at all. And I know, Bo liked it a lot. John, I just don't think you ever played it yet. You have it, but you haven't played it.
I have it, but I haven't played it.
I have 285 hours in Valheim.
Yeah, Valheim is by all accounts a great survival game, maybe one of the best. And I just couldn't. I don't know why. It just wasn't clicking. I bought it too, played it, just wasn't clicking with me. Maybe it was a timing
thing. On
thing.
server. We got to play with friends. Maybe.
That's probably part of it. I did play with some friends, but I don't remember who. I guess it was just fans. And they're friends. They're nice. Sounds worse.
Good recovery. Whoa, man, almost dodged or almost got hit by a bullet, but safely dodged there.
That's like when you watch gymnastics in the Olympics, and then the landing's just a little off. The foot goes the wrong way. And they
Sure.
take the point off.
Well, I mean, the way I look at it is, most of these games are here. I'm a dude, and I'm in a forest, and I'm naked, and I'm going to hit a tree, and I'm going to build a hut, and I'm going to try to survive the night. And then after that, I'm going to have to eat, and then I need to go get some weeds. And, that's the standard thing. Mm-hmm. That doesn't appeal to me at all. And Valheim did do that differently, and of course brought a new kind of like a little bit of lore to it. And you're in a, the whole Valheim thing, Valhalla, freaking Norse mythology.
Pretty nice. It's pretty beautiful.
And the world is cool. I like the graphic engine, and the way that thing works is just way cool. But the gameplay loop didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
Some magic sauce is in V Rising that hooked me completely. And I actually think part of it is the Diablo 3/4 top-down thing. I think that's a big part of it. I like games that these games that are a little bit fiddly with systems, I like being like above it all. I can't explain why. I just feel like that's less of a problem for me, and it sucked me in hard. Like
no pun intended.
I think yeah. I think about it all the time. I want to play it all the time. I'm not even that far. I'm 45 item level, something like that. So I'm doing okay, but I'm just now getting to the point. I'm getting to the point where I can do.
I'm in the high 70s at this point.
Yeah, you're way up there. I've gotten to the point where I'm doing some creative stuff with my castle finally, instead of just having shit everywhere, and getting smarter about production and what to make. But I think what really sold me, there's two things at play here I think that really did it. Number one, it really leans into it being a vampire simulator, and it really leans into the kind of vampire I like, not shiny modern ones with sparkly skin and can be out in the sun, not bad ideas in movies, old school gothic, the river runs with red with blood in some Romanian town, freaking vampire ass vampires. And that's the vampires I like. And this is that. It also doesn't get too far up its own butt in terms of realism. Like, this isn't, you look at the models and you create your dude at the beginning and all that. It's all very stylized. I wouldn't even say cartoony, but
you look like night elves, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the dudes have long, muscly necks. And,
yeah, it's very stylized, very stylistic, and it works extremely well for the look of the game. And the tone is exactly right for this kind of stuff. And I love that. That drew me in immediately. Then what really hooked me was, I think the systems are really smart, and that all works really well. But what really got me is this is the Battlerite team, and they have parlayed their excellent Battlerite combat right over to this. Combat is freaking fun. Part of that means WASD controls and mouse aiming and skill shots. That was all part of Battlerite. And I was a little concerned here because it is a little jarring at first. You're like, oh, right, this isn't Diablo. I'm not click moving. I gotta realign the way I control this thing and think about it. But when it clicks, 100% clicks for me, the control scheme in the game. And I prefer it this way. I'm glad it's not some other way. The more I play it, the more glad I am it plays the way it plays. And as a result, every combat encounter, including just boring ones with a guy on the road, to a wolf in the forest, to everything in between, including bosses and everything else, all feels like an amazing dance and really well thought out. The abilities are fun. They pop. They're graphically impressive and fun. It's meaty. The combat is crunchy and meaty. It's just a really, really good freaking game. And I'm completely hooked on it as a result. And I want to throw it around to everybody. But before I do, I just wanted to mention this one thing. I'm playing on a server with Bo that Bo started. We have a few people on there. We're going to actually offer that up to our top tier patrons as a place to come hang out if you're playing the game. So if you're a patron, watch the Patreon coming up and soon, maybe even tomorrow. I'll put information for the server. We obviously don't have unlimited slots because these servers don't have unlimited slots, but we'll, first come, first serve.
We can have as many characters, but we only have 10 simultaneous logins.
Right.
If there's a lot of demand for it, I can increase the amount. Like, we can pay to have more slots if there's a lot of people trying to get in.
I was more worried about the actual geography of the place. Does that mess you up? Like,
there's lots of room for castles. I guess the one thing is to tell people is that we're not doing PvP. PvP is a big part of this game, but we're doing a PvE server. So when you build your castles, don't be a dick and build your castle next to someone else's, preventing them from expanding. So
right, that's a good point. And also, if you're expanding, don't take three castle slots. Like, try to be reasonable with your stuff. And I'm sure
there's lots of real estate. We'll see how popular it gets. But there is lots of real estate around.
So I wanted to mention that we'll just pay attention to the Patreon, and that's where that'll show up. If you're not a patron, you can still sign up and be considered for it. We're going to do it at the higher level to start with, at least. As a benefit. Then the other thing I was going to say is I just for fun went and started my own solo instance using the level 70 rules pack because I just wanted to see what that was. Yeah. That was wild because basically it gave me maximum gear to start, maximum level to start, all that stuff to start, and then a pouch full of stuff to get going. but it doesn't let you just go willy-nilly. It's not like creative mode where I could just go, I'm building my castle and nothing costs anything and I'm just building the thing. It doesn't work like that at all. It's it's crazy because I could actually see a fun time doing this temporarily, even where you've already got our full progression over on Bo's server, but just for shits and giggles, you go over here and you create one where you eliminate the long trek to
just
maximum
creative mode.
Kind of, except you still have to go chop down trees. You still have to get the stone. You still got to build the things. You still got to refine the things. Like to do any progression, even at that 70 start, it doesn't give you any of that. You have to build.
One way you could do it is console cheats. So I don't know how it works locally, but I have, because I'm the admin of the server, I could spawn in whatever I want. I don't do that, but I think for your local game, I think if you set yourself to the admin of it, you could also console cheat. You know, if you just want to do pure creative mode.
Oh, that could be fun. I might try that.
Yeah, it's like you press the tilde button and you learn the commands. I haven't been able to figure it out in single player, but there's been tutorials online for that. But
it's and that would ruin the core. Normally, this ruins core gameplay for me when a game offers a bunch of creative stuff. It kind of makes it like it lessens the other stuff. I am happy to report it didn't do that at all to me. I didn't feel that at all.
It's big in Valheim. Like people will do just pure creative because Valheim it's really hard to get ore. It's like a whole thing. But you could just sit there and spawn all your items. And someone made the Millennium Falcon out of like logs and wood.
See, I love that
in Valheim, and they didn't farm it. They like did creative mode, but that's cool. Like no one's mad. This is the opposite of trying to control an environment. Like let's say Diablo Immortal, because we're trying to. They're just like, hey man, mod the shit out of it. It's your game. Like do whatever the hell you want, and nobody cares. Right?
I'm absolutely loving it. I'm in love with it. I adore it. Part of me is like, it's weird for me to want to just donate all my time to one game because I'm usually, like we talked about last week, I like to hop around. I like to try the new thing that came out last week on Game Pass. I like to pick around over here and do this. But I ended up playing a ton of this. Doesn't mean I didn't play two other games because I did, but
it's Vampire Chorecore though. Like, if you think about it, like you're like, it's not just like going out and doing the ARPG stuff, which is great, but then you're also like, I got to manage my own castle. Like a vampire has some responsibilities in life. They got servants. They got to send them out on missions. They have to grind bones into dust so they can huff it later or whatever it is they do. You know, like
And I just think some of the systems, everybody said, "Oh, Valheim's like playing vanilla WoW. You're going to love the way it makes you feel." And in some ways, they were correct about that. And in other ways, there's just a lot of obtuse things, I thought, in Valheim. Some of that's gotten better with patches and that. But in this game, going to that, what's it called? I forgot what it's called. But it's basically a hearth blood thing, and you go talk to it or look at it, and it shows all the bosses you can go start killing.
Oh, the blood altar. It still has like a questing system.
Yeah.
Right?
It feels like an MMO, kind of.
Yeah. Or like Diablo, go to this area, kill this thing.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a fundamentally important part of this is that you have hunt targets for your V blood.
Right.
That you unlock things through, and gearing up to do it is
it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's even like, fun to be way behind and go, shit, I don't have enough stone. I'm going to make a plan, empty my bags, put them in new boxes, shove it all over to the side and say, all right, I'm waiting for midnight, or I'm waiting for sundown. Okay, bong, it's sundown. Sweet. I'm going on a raid for stone. And while I'm out there, if I kill 100 wolves, great, I'll do that too. And if there's a boss, fine. But whatever, my goal right now is to have so much stone, I won't know what to do with it all. And I'll get back and I'll refine a bunch of it and store a bunch of it. For some reason, that's clicking for me where these kinds of activities in most survival games turn me off. And this doesn't.
I just think there's a lot going on too, because you could be doing that and you're like, oh shit, 100% blood quality guy. I need to enslave. Like all of a sudden your mission's bailed completely because you find 100%, 100%er for blood quality, and you want to make him your servant.
Yeah. And they make things. Those kind of moments are really fun because you got to make a decision. Do I drink his blood and have all the benefits, or do I tame him and take him home when I didn't really plan to come out here and do that? Those kinds of things in most games I hate because it's like, ugh, you're distracting me from my goal. They're fun to make these decisions on the fly and actually do them. Or the day-night cycle. If it's daytime, you got to stay in the shade. Keep to the trees, keep to the rocks, keep to the shade, or else you're going to burn.
The floor is literally lava.
The floor is lava. Exactly. So that means fights are more difficult. Like it ramps that stuff up. Normally, I would see that as getting in the way of my fun.
Right.
I don't feel that way. I feel like it's this added fun thing to do. And I actually like it. I welcome it. It's fine. And even if it makes me go, well, I'm not doing this boss right now because this guy's a sunlight fiend and he's out in the middle.
It makes vampire sense, I guess. Like, you're not just like they put this in artificially to create difficulty. Like John's point, maybe your mileage will vary if you like the mechanic that much or not. Like make night longer, for example. But you're like, oh no, this is what vampires have to deal with. Like, this is true to life.
If I only had one tiny request to make a tiny life improvement mode thing, it would be that I don't know why I can't teleport from very sparse teleport locations. It's not like they're everywhere. Let me teleport with all the crap I have on my back.
I got good news for you.
I don't like that either.
Yeah.
I got a little bit of good news for you.
Okay.
If you're going into Dundley or Silverlight Hills, there are things called cave passages that are free teleports.
I have seen those. Yeah.
You can move with all your stuff. They're not in the best places, but I just discovered using them last night, and they cut down on your travel time immensely.
Oh, that's awesome.
Why
That's awesome.
So it doesn't solve all of your problems, but yeah, you're gonna it's a shortcut for sure.
Yeah,
the cave passages are kind of great.
Yeah,
and
I think the reason I don't like the teleport thing isn't that I just want to be able to teleport everywhere, but I think to kind of go off what Scott said, one of the strengths of this game is, okay, the sun came up. I know combat's going to be harder, so maybe now is a great time to build my castle, or maybe now is a great time to farm mats in a cave or something.
Right.
Like its difficulties kind of inspire you to go try other aspects of the game and not mind that you're doing it and not be like, oh, it's making me do the thing I don't want to do. Like,
right.
There's kind of this flow that keeps you moving through it. The one place I kind of butt heads with that, though, and the reason why I said like make nights longer is because it takes so long from to get from one end of the map to another sometimes, that it's just not fun to go like, well, I should leave during the day because by the time I get there and find the boss I want to fight, it's gonna be daytime, so I can't go now. So I should leave during the day. And I just don't like that level of management. It just takes a little too long to get around the map. I feel like if that was better, even if it was very limited traversal.
So have you gotten into horses yet?
I did get a horse. I don't.
Oh, I don't have a horse yet.
Control.
I need a horse.
Yeah.
I gotta get a horse.
Now the horses are a little rough to control, but they do dramatically speed up your traversal time. But
how do you
building
get
a vampire waygate? So it sucks because if we're in a clan, you'll have extra waygates to places. Like 4 people is the clan size. That's up to 8 waygates potentially, in addition to the ones on the map. So you do have a lot of movement options. And then with the cave passages, like, if you plan your farming route, because I won't just go to one location in Dundley. I'll like plan a little route, go A, B, C, and then plan it so that I hit a cave and fast travel. My base is in the first biome, so it is so tedious to like horseback every time. So that saves me a lot of time. Are you guys just still in the first biome?
I'm still where you are down there.
Starting to get into the second.
Oh, you mean Dundley? As far as going out there? Yes.
Yeah. But like the traversal from Dundley back down south is bad. I started building my base in Dundley, but then I moved my base to Silverlight Hills, which is the desert area in the top left. And so I'm right next to the city.
How do you do that?
Well, you can build 2 castles. You have 2 castle hearts.
Oh, so I noticed that.
You could like so what I would do is I'd build a bare minimum outpost out in Dundley, and just teleport to Dundley and then take the cave passage back. So that's the stuff the game doesn't sort of explain to you, so you can spend a lot of time doing it manually, and I did. But now that we're talking about it, there are some options there to make your.
See, in the chat saying, can you teleport between castles? That's exactly what Bo's saying. Yes. The problem is if you're loaded with stuff, with farmed gear or mats and stuff, everything other than your top row, which has your weapons in it, if anything else below that is full, you can't teleport. So,
yeah, basically the items are marked cannot be teleported.
Yeah,
because Valheim has this too. Because I think the conceit is that like the journey back is part of the adventure, So
sure,
we want to artificially force you to have to traverse. But I mean, John's point's fair. If you don't want that, if you don't enjoy that,
well, plus it's if you're way in the corner and you don't want to relocate. There
are plenty of memes on Valheim too, because you can't teleport with copper ore, but if I make copper nails, I can bring all the copper nails I want through the thing, and it's like, what is the science behind this teleporting? Like I turn it into nails and suddenly I can teleport with it.
That is weird.
So yeah, it's just it's a conceit in these survival games to make you have to do a survive.
Yeah, I just don't think that's I get the design decision. I don't think I've ever had an eventful run back. You know what I mean? Like
it's only eventful if you're trying to charm someone.
Yeah.
I've lost so many charmed dudes to like stray fire arrows, and I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah, that's true. Because John's got a good point. Yeah, go ahead.
The go out and find something like mechanic to me is the thirst mechanic, because I've had interesting adventures when I'm like all of a sudden like, oh god, I have no blood left. I need blood, and I go out and I'm like, I just need something. I just need blood. And like there's a bear out there, but he's like a 1% bear. Like,
oh, you got Big Mac.
Big Mac.
Oh
man.
my gosh, this is awful. So you get that, and then you go, all right, I got the bear, but I'm 1%, and that's garbage to your blood. And now I need to go out and get some pristine quality blood. And so then you're like, okay, but I don't want to go far. I want to stay near my base. And you're like, okay, there's a guy. He's 7%. So you get him. And you're like, all right, well, 7% still not good. Let's keep going. And next thing you know, you're halfway across the map just chasing premium blood. That's fun. I had a good time with.
Fun.
That's an adventure. Yeah. Going, I can't pick anything up, so fighting enemies is going to be a waste of time, and I'm just going to run from point A to point B has never been exciting or fun for me.
Yeah, they need to improve that. I don't know how they will. Maybe they'll concede and say, oh, at level 60 there's a charm that helps you take all your shit around or something.
Maybe we play as a squad. We get 4 players. Someone needs something. I'll happily help mule things for people. You know, I'll come to a site. We'll pile up a big inventory of whatever you're looking for, and bring it back. Like, because I find the good thing about this game is you do go through a period where you're like, I got to farm stuff, but it's not like I'm going to be at this for weeks. Like, I get 2 big hauls of iron, and I'm good for a while. I make all my armor. I get my upgrades. You know, it's not demanding like weeks and weeks of farming things. So I am at the point where running back was getting tedious too. So like my threshold for pain is pretty high on that one. But the cave passages, discovering the cave passages are a time saver for sure. Like,
I've seen where the caves are, but I haven't done anything to.
So in Farbane, in the first biome, they're high up, so you can't access them from there. But in the other zones, they're on ground, and you can bring followers through it, and you can bring your horse through it. Everything goes through it. So you can speed with a horse, get through the cave, then you're in Farbane, and you're like, one of them is right next to my base. The one in Dundley, my base is in the center of Farbane. There's one near center Dundley. It takes me right next to my base. I was like, oh, sweet. This is amazing. And I think you're in the east end of Farbane, John. I think there's one that goes to the east end as well.
So I'm kind of in I think I'm kind of in the southeast of the map.
Yeah. One of the things too, I don't know how Kyle figured this out. Kyle played the game for 2 seconds and he made his first base in the desert. He's like, I want to go. Like,
how
most
did he
people
do that?
You plop when I first played in a local server, you plop your base right by the entrance. That is like the worst thing to do, because the game map is so huge and you're going to be muling stuff constantly back to your base. I put mine in the center of Farbane. My jaw was on the floor when Kyle Galaxy brained his base into the last biome. I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, I just like this place.
He wanted to be a city vampire.
How did he avoid like all those brutes and stuff? Like, it's bad up there. It's a scary.
Just ran past him.
He ran past him and snuck. He made it through, and you know it's. Anyways, I have a gate up there. We're gonna clan up. I don't know if Kyle's gonna rejoin the clan because he's got his own. So you'll get a way gate up in the north. So that'll be very convenient for you. Yeah.
Except if you have shit on you, and then no, it's not convenient.
And I gotta say, I've fought some of the later bosses. The last 2 bosses I fought are like bullet hell. So bosses in this game scale.
Oh, they're
the
great.
more vampires fighting it, the more projectiles they shoot.
Yeah. And
the more ads they spawn. And I soloed the last 2 bosses that I fought. They were bullet hell. I'm like, what happens when there's more people here? I was literally dancing around 57 projectiles in one fight. And I was like, oh my God. So this game really delivers. And the impressive part is this is early access. There's still there's a mountain in the middle of Dundley. I don't know how to get up. There's a zone to the east that isn't in the game. And there's a spot for 2 more zones in the north. I'm just like, how many like I'm so excited for this game. I felt confident in making a server because just like Valheim, there's gonna be more to come, you know? And when it releases, I'll be like, let's play it from the start again or something like that, you know?
Yeah, and I assume they're gonna let us keep our progression, do you know?
Yeah.
On the
And I'll
servers,
say
you
that
know?
now as an advance warning on anyone joining, probably on launch, which is probably years away, but we'll do a server wipe and start fresh.
Oh,
on the server.
we are gonna do that. Okay.
Yeah.
In a year, or
It's fine
two,
with
when
me.
We're not playing the
You
game.
might not
Yeah.
even be playing, Scott. You might be on.
I don't know. I haven't felt this into a thing for a while. It's been a while.
It is compelling. Like, it's weird because, like, I'm not as engaged in it as I have been other games this year, or other games that I play even on the regular. But as far as like an experience that I want to pull up and just mess with, it has been a constant, like, everyday sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it sticks in my brain. I was playing Final Fantasy the other day, and it became daytime, and I went, oh, and I real quick ran and got inside a building and realized, what the hell am I doing right now?
Right.
But I actually dodged the sun in another game because it just was living in my brain that, like, sun bad, I got to get out of it. And that felt really, that I was like, okay, game, I see what you're doing. You're doing good things. You're making me live like a vampire.
Yeah,
This
they
is
hook
awesome.
you in. The same thing happened to me playing Shipbreaker with right clicking, because when you right click in this game, it's a camera thing, right? In V Rising, and not in that game. That's how you fire off. Well, depending on what tool you're holding, that's how you fire off tethers to attach them to things. So I'm just wasting tethers left and right because my muscle memory is like, oh shit, you're V Rising this game now. What are you doing? Stop. Drove me crazy. But anyway, it's great. This game is great. Y'all should be playing this game. And if you're playing it and you're in the top tier of our Patreon list, good news. You're about to join a really cool server. So that Bo was
You have
apparently...
to. If you're a high-level patron, we're gonna make you.
Yeah, you
join
have
the
to do
servers
it.
and go out and buy the game.
And then we're going to make you lose all your shit when Bo wipes it. So get ready.
Get ready.
You know, like if Valheim's any indication, Valheim's been out for like a year and a half, and they've had updates, but they haven't released a new biome in a year and a half. So, you know,
They might be quicker here. I don't know.
anytime soon.
They might be faster. These guys...
They might be faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But I'm expecting still a year at least. Like, it's early access. It's still a year. Like, we're gonna play, and maybe if no one wants to do it, it'll change. But I would just say, like, it would be fun to start from scratch on launch, because who knows?
Isn't there a way to... Didn't you tell me there was a way to maybe save out profiles for people that didn't want it?
Yeah, we can back up the save file. Like, if people like, I don't know about V Rising, but Valheim, if I shut the server down, I know how to download off FTP the save file, upload it to my Steam, and then we can just play local. Yeah. I'm pretty sure this is going to be true in V Rising as well. So, if anyone wants to keep their castle or their progression, I'm sure we can figure out a way for them to do that.
Yeah, we'll figure. I'm sure it'll be a big request from the devs anyway. But
yeah, we'll see. What's also impressive about this game is just how not early access it feels. Like, there is a lot of support for server modifications. The game runs mostly good. I did encounter one bug that really ticked me off, and I submitted a bug report. And it's a PSA for everyone here. I fished out a sweet hood called a Razor Hood, and it gave me green Tyrael face, and it looks amazing. So I was wearing this hood while I was fishing in Silverlight Hills, and I fished up a Knight's helmet. The Knight's helmet auto-equipped, and my Razor Hood disappeared from my inventory.
Oh no!
And I was like, I love that hood, and I got it randomly, probably a rare drop, and I got this dingy freaking Knight's helmet. So I filed a bug report.
why didn't it end up in your inventory? That's weird.
I think it auto equipped on my helmet and overwrote.
Oh, because you haven't had a
My
helmet
Razor
piece
Hood.
before. Is that why?
Well, no, I was wearing a helmet piece, and then the helmet piece I acquired just auto equipped and deleted the one I was wearing.
Oh,
'cause
that
it
should have
wasn't my
dropped in your
inventory, and I
bag.
looked on the ground everywhere.
They should have had that
And
drop in your
I was
bag,
streaming what
honestly.
happened, so actually I should have linked my VOD to the developers.
Oh yeah,
There you go.
totally.
Then they would have
Yeah.
known, hey, this guy's streaming our game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about reaching out to them because I've played this game like my life depends on it. I have 85 hours in like a week played.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good, you guys. Take it from a guy who hates survival games. Something here.
Come
Something
play,
magic.
chat with people on the server. Tezzeret Dynamite, who's in there, is constantly asking for clan mates. So go join a clan with him, maybe.
Yeah.
By public, make friends, hang out.
Why not be
Like-
if you end up on the server with us, clan up with a guy who likes to lay in the road and have dogs pull at him, and that's hand sanitizer. He loves that. Loves just laying
Hans
around.
Sanitizer is in our clan.
Yeah. Oh, he is in our
Because
clan. That's right.
I initially opened it up to my subs on my stream.
Yeah.
And he was the first, and he's been a great supporter of Core and of my stream.
No, he's
as
great.
well.
He's all over the place.
Him
He's
and
awesome.
Devastation are wonderful.
Yeah.
Supporter. I can't thank them. He's the one that bought me Death Stranding. I haven't played it yet. I'm sorry, but but anyways, great guy. But he leaves his body everywhere. Like everywhere I'm going, I see there's like a dead corpse. Something. Hans Sanitizer just logs out anywhere, and the wolves are eating him.
He's
The
just
bears are
laying
chewing
there.
on his corpse.
And I love it because your vampire lays and floats. So he's
he lays like this with his hands there, just like, and then like someone's making a meal out of him.
And you can drag him too. You can like pull him around and like leave him
he
weird
should
places.
be a dried up turd because the sun should be burning him up at that point too.
It's so good. It gets all that stuff so right. I freaking love
And
it.
even the little thing, like, what did you think when you've logged in? And you were like, "Oh, I don't have blood," and I exposed my neck, so you can expose your neck so your teammate can share blood.
It was a revelatory moment.
It's like what a weird teammate thing. Like, here, have some of my sweet blood
Yeah.
that I ate off this goat earlier.
It was an amazing moment, and I didn't know about it because I hadn't messed with it. And Bo was showing this mechanic for the first time, and it was literally his guy going and a button prompt saying hit F to drink out of his neck. It was amazing.
And we shared blood, and then even when you kill a boss, like you down the boss, and it's like, oh, everyone at the same time, like all 4 vampires in a group will just be sucking the boss's blood, and it just there's something so like
It's visceral.
vampire-y about everyone sharing a meal in this way. It's like it's going.
Yeah, it's very very good.
It's such a winner, man. Like I can't believe how hard this game wins on style and theme and
it's early access is polished as hell. Your bug notwithstanding, I haven't had any issues.
That's the only bug I've encountered. It's been, even the UI and the tab panes, they all function nicely.
They're all good. Yeah, that stuff's very Diablo-like, and I feel like maybe that's partly what sucked me in. Is my favorite game series of all time is Diablo, and this has the smell of that, but obviously in very different ways. But it's just there's something there, and I freaking
combat
love it.
feels good. Like the enemies do moves, like they have very distinct profiles for what they do.
Yeah.
So when you meet different combinations of them, there's tactical action combat, right? It isn't just spam damage. Like this is the problem: is that this game is a revelation. Like I would play a whole ARPG, and it comes out the week of Diablo Immortal. Not that I want to bring it up, but the ARPGs are kind of like just get the gear, and you don't have to dodge the ability. You just stand there and hit it. Yeah. So this really tickles my MOBA brain. That's like, don't get hit with skill shots; you're going to regret it. You know. And so when the enemy stuns you, you're like, and the bow and arrow guy can shoot you at will. You're like, oh, it matters where my positioning is, and you get a lot of buttons to press to get out of it. So there's a combat puzzle element that is just really, really fun.
Yeah, and like Diablo, it lets you swap in and out abilities just to kind of be to taste or to whatever the encounter is. If you're doing a boss, you're going to want to do certain things, but you can do those things between fights and go, yeah, I prefer this, or I like the look of that, or they just give you a lot of options that way. And even the simplest, like bone archers, these are just skeletal archers, and you see them. They'll move to aim to you, but at one point they'll lock in and say, well, that's where I'm aiming. And then you can move and they will miss you. So you learn that timing just by encountering one for the first time.
Although you haven't gotten as far, some of them know how to lead, Scott.
No, some of them do. I know. Like
Some of them look at the direction you're going and aim ahead, because if you just stop in your tracks, they'll miss you. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, it's like I'm playing a player where they predicted where I'm going.
Yeah,
like
it's weird. It's really weird. And good. In a good way. It doesn't feel cheap.
No, it feels like you still have a window to dodge. They're not. It's not. cheaty like some. It's good.
I think it's
really
just
good.
really hard to ring all these bells so well, and they're doing it in early access, and it already feels done. Like this is a bona fide. And I think they deserve their $1.5 million, 2 million,
1.5 million in sales.
Something they deserve it. Like it's strong, and they're like, we're surprised by the reception. I'm like, you shouldn't be. This is a badass game. It's really good.
Gamers are a fickle bunch, right? I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
I'm definitely sure there are some people that took bad reviews that didn't deserve it. I think Heroes is one of those games, to be honest. But
that's true. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm happy for him. I'm mad at them for letting Battlerite kind of just languish on the vine, but I'm kind of glad it all turned into
we're getting this, and you never know. I mean, it seems like they're not a studio that's like, let's do something completely different. It seems like they're building on.
They're iterating, yeah.
Before, and
yeah.
My secret hope is like once they're done with this game, I'm like, make an ARPG in this system. Like, just make a full-on ARPG in the system. Like, please.
Yeah. Keep vampires in it.
Just we'll give you money. Please do the right thing with that money. Don't make a free-to-play gotcha game.
Jinden once says the DLC worth it. Here's the funny thing about the DLC. The DLC is purely cosmetic stuff, like decorate your castle like Dracula would, things like that. And there's two. There's a Founders thing and then a Dracula pack. Before playing it, I would have said, nah, just give me the $20 game. Let's play this. I don't care about your DLC. Now I'm like, I'm ready to deck out my castle with cool shit. I think I would like to belly
I want
up.
red and gold.
Yeah.
It's funny you mention it, but I'm buying it as we speak.
Right now.
I'm like, I saw John Sweet wolf skin.
Oh yeah, because I bought the whatever collector's edition thing was.
Founders thing, whatever it is.
Yeah, I bought whatever the. I was like, I want the real experience. Let's get in here.
Yeah.
And it came with a custom wolf form, and I ran up to Bo. I was watching him stream at the same time, and he goes, "That's a nice 3-tail wolf you got there. I want that many tails."
Yeah.
And I'm surprised it took this long with how into it he is.
I was waiting for payday. Payday was yesterday. So,
okay.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Like, this is an example of I happily pay for cosmetics. They made a great game, and I happily pay a company money for additional support in good things that they do.
Yeah, it's great. V Rising, big thumbs up. Shipbreaker, real quick. I've been really enjoying the story and the progress. I've maxed out most of my skills. I have played that a lot before I played V Rising. Dead Rising, jeez. And it's very good. I'm happy. Here's one other thing I would say about it. I got retweeted by the devs because I captured video of me doing something real dumb. So sometimes I will blow a door before I've fixed airlock issues. And it's best to not have everything depressurized because you can cause explosions. You can cause junk inside the ship to bang around and, nick the nuke reactor and have the whole thing melt down on you. Like, there's problems with that, but there's also reasons why you might want to do that in some cases. And I had the whole front end of the ship ready to take apart, blew out the back door. Worst choice ever because the thing just went like you you let a balloon go, it goes flying off somewhere. My ship just goes way into nowhere, way out into the void, and I just kind of watch it, like waving at it, bye. And I, it was funny and great, and I don't regret it. But I put it up on Twitter, and they retweeted it, so that made me happy. So anyway, Shipbreaker is still great, and Card Shark, been playing that here and there. I talked about it last week, so not much to add, except that game's very cool. John, you played the game of Unpacking, not the one that people think.
No, not the fun one. I am so sick of moving. I'm so ready to be able to play video games. I'm so mad at real life getting in the way of it. It's a constant frustration. Let me just tell you, if you have a choice between moving and not moving, and I do mean if you have a choice, don't move. It sucks. It's just an awful experience, even when it's good. And I think this move in general was a good one. It's still no fun. I want to play video games again so bad.
Yeah, because games rule.
Yeah, they're fun, which is the opposite of what everything I've been doing for the past week has been.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm sure, this will be a good week for you. You get everything all squared away, taken care of.
Maybe. As a thank you for my wife's parents watching the kids so that we didn't have to be tripping over them for the move. They are spending the weekend with us. I am not pleased about this fact.
No, that sucks.
It's either going to lead to more video games as I simply barricade myself in the office and hide, or less because now there's yet another responsibility I have to deal with all weekend.
Ugh. Well, best of luck on that front, and Godspeed and wind to your back, I suppose, is what I would say. Yeah. All those things. Bo played some more Catalyst Black. So did I. That game's cool.
Yeah, I really only think so. The game's cool. I really find it fun. it is pay to win, and almost in a shitty way that I've almost like I'm like.
Well, the one way it doesn't, though. Okay, so we had all our say about Diablo, but the one way that I like this does it is it is apparently only matching you with people who've decided to be at the same level. So in other words, if you're not paying anything, you're going to be matched with people who are in the same boat. If you're gonna buy your way up, you're gonna play with top tier people. So you're not. No one ever is going to be top tier gear and fight in a place where no one else has that stuff.
So on the free to play front, I've leveled up my noob gun to 20. It's maxed out now.
Yeah.
And I'm at infusion level like a 6-star. So my gear's actually starting to crawl up there. I'm starting to see people I think who've paid. I'm still winning and beating them most of the time.
You're still whipping them, yeah.
Though, so the thing I wanted to kind of quasi brag about is just there's an achievement to get 55 pentakills.
Yeah.
And I got it.
You did? That's hard.
I've gotten a decakill. Dude, when you get a pentakill, it tells the whole game. So I'm like, oh yeah, suck it, enemy team. And then when you get a decakill, it tells them. I've gotten a couple decakills. There's no achievement for that. But literally 10 kills in a row fast enough by the time they respawn to get a decakill.
Yeah, that's intense. That means you killed everybody who was spawned.
I like rip face in that game. Like, I kill bots so good. I swear though, there's lots of bots in the game. Like I've looked at the behavior enough now that I'm like, some of them are bots.
Some of them are definitely bots.
It's like three players, 2 bots, and you just farm the bots, and then they get because you can tell who the bots aren't because when you start getting a lot of kills, they get hungry to put you out.
Yeah,
especially if you're the Paragon, which I often am. Yeah, and
I like being the Paragon.
You're playing angry, and I'm going to kill you anyway.
Good news too for anyone who owns the. Let's see, does it have it out here? I don't have it in here, but if you have the, I don't know where I put it. The backbone. Last week I said it doesn't work with a backbone. I was incorrect. The menus don't work with the backbone. The gameplay does. So full dual stick, button mapped, all that stuff works just fine playing. And now I'm owning even more fools. Bots or not, I'm just destroying them.
No, it's. So what weapons are you using?
I'm using the one that takes a minute to slow to speed up, but once it's going, you're
okay.
Gatling
so the miniguns.
The minigun.
Your primary is a minigun.
Primary is mini. Flamethrower really for secondary, or sorry, rocket launcher for secondary. I do pretty good with that, and then for my
what is your? I mean, usually I'm doing achievements and quests, which often like kill is Sunder. But like, what's your favorite summon?
Oh, I like the big beefy guy that leaps.
Sunder, that's his name.
Is that the name?
Yeah, Sunder.
Yeah, he's cool.
You haven't unlocked Torridon yet, right?
No,
because Torridon's pretty awesome.
No, I've seen others with it.
One shots anybody when you have it's pretty.
The one that shits ice all over the place is really my bane. I hate that thing.
Yeah, Isia or something. Yeah, she's annoying as shit. Yeah.
But I do like.
I got the rare, the Luma Isia, who does more damage but has less health. I actually unlocked that. I've opened so many free loot boxes from dailies. I play every night before bed.
Yeah, it's a good night game. I like it.
But it's kind of like it pulls me back. I'm like, let me play 3 games, then end up playing 8.
Yeah,
because I just want to own. It's just
it's good.
Too much positive reinforcement happening for me in that game.
It does have a lot, but it's also just it's again I got Blizzard talent all over it, marred perhaps by its free to play status, but I don't feel like it's as grabby as Diablo Immortal.
It's a gacha game because
I don't know. Hearing you guys talk about infusion levels and gun levels,
it is 100% an immoral gacha game because to power up. So I'm powering up the free weapons, right? Yeah. I'm using free to play, so you get Quint, and then you go in the Quint store and you can just buy the duplicates, whatever's on offer that day. Mm-hmm. So, but there are legendary items, right? And to upgrade legendary items, you have to get duplicates. But duplicates, legendaries, are at legendary drop rate. Like you have to spend like probably $100,000 to, if you're in money, to max out one of these legendary weapons. It is absolutely.
I'll never do that.
As much of a dumpster fire as Diablo Immortal.
I'll never do that.
The problem is that there's no twin stick shooter multiplayer game like it that exists, and it's just hard to peel myself away. I agree. From it. I keep coming back to it.
It's like a MOBA with shooter tendencies. It's hard to explain.
I mean, there are a lot of game modes. I just like Hydra mode, and the reason I like Hydra mode, I think if I was getting owned a lot, I'd have given up. But I kind of want to see. Am I going to become a professional Catalyst Black player? Like, I'm so good at it. I'm not going to... Like, I'll get 30 kills and the next person has 8. I'm just like...
You'll get whatever this game's... whatever the equivalent of a kill screen is. That's your goal. Eventually.
Yeah, I guess just stream it and show people. Like, I'm not just blowing hot air off everyone's ass.
Yeah.
Like,
it's really well made. It's It's a polished, nice game with some shitty micro stuff.
You can't look at this and say it's any different, unfortunately, on my assessment scale of free-to-play bullshit. It's pay to win.
It's not, but it's
And
also
gotcha,
you're just
100%.
getting into play, and I don't have the history that I have with Diablo, so for whatever reason, it feels less egregious. You know, I will admit
That's always the argument with Diablo is you're just bringing up now because it's Diablo, but this has been true for years and no one said anything. I think we said this before in the last show. No one gives a shit about other games. They give a shit about Diablo. Blizzard properties.
Yeah,
It's
these are
a
big
passionate
IPs,
fan
man.
base.
These are big deals. But I don't know why nobody, like, you know, Call of Duty's got a gigantic mobile base, and that thing's predatory as hell. But I don't hear anybody going, they just expect it. There's something different with the Blizzard games. I don't know.
Well, I mean, Counter-Strike has had. I mean, Valve. They've been doing in-game tradable items for a long time. Like that's been a thing for a long time.
Yeah,
I think that crowd also likes gambling and stuff too, right? Like,
yeah,
like it's gambling. There's a weird thing happening in the streamer space. So, first of all, most streamers are like Diablo Immortal shit. And then, by the way, I'm going to stream Diablo Immortal and show how much money I spend. And then at the end, they're going to say the game's probably not that bad.
yeah.
Like, this is just a life cycle. Like, but also there's a meta on Twitch right now of people just straight up gambling, like getting money to gamble
Yeah.
from a gambling site and then streaming it for other people. And it's just there's a lightning rod of a conversation that's happening right now. It's a beautiful picture of Brian, by the way.
Oh, I was hoping that somebody would notice it because it's horrendous, and I just found it and I had to share it real quick. But anyway, go ahead.
Anyways, it's I don't know. All I'm thinking about is how Brian's beautiful face. And
He's been super sick, not COVID, but some horrible flu thing, and that's him on the couch. And I thought it was too good not to share. So
I guess all that to say is like we just gotta. The only thing that like I want to harp on is we just gotta call a spade a spade. And when I look at who's pushing, we're gamers. We appreciate good games. I can't pay compliments to games that are regressive, exploitative, and play them. I just can't pay them compliments, and I can't really pay Catalyst Black, even though I can pay compliment to the gameplay. But I'd say the Diablo gameplay is very good too.
Mm-hmm.
The full assessment is that yes, it's pay to win, and it's not good.
Here's my recommendation, everybody. If you have an iPad, go get Invisible Ink from Clay Entertainment. You pay $10. It's the full game. There's not a single microtransaction or ad in it. It's video games the way they used to be. You just buy it and
Which
play it.
one is that?
It's called Invisible Ink on an iPad, and it's an amazing version of that game.
I have to play that every time you bring that up.
Amazing version of that game.
You gifted that to me. I still haven't played it.
You should
I'm
play it.
installing now.
Oh, it's so good.
I know.
Civilization also has a really good. It's not even like a mobile version. They put like full on. I think it's like I don't remember if it's Civ 6 or Civ 5, but you just pay it.
Oh, 6. It's 6.
Expensive
Yeah.
on there, but you just get it's the game.
It's the game. Yeah, your mouse is your finger, and it plays great. It's an amazing version of it.
It's such a compliment.
And it's such a compliment. Your mouse is your finger.
Your mouse is your finger.
Yeah. Hey, I feel like I'm on some hype stage talking about the next big thing. Imagine your mouse, but your finger.
For years, Neanderthals have tried to navigate using a little piece of plastic, but now your mouse is your finger.
It's your finger. But they have to do it in that voice. All right. That's it for games we played. It is now time for a quick email.
That's a good question.
That's right. We got a good question or a good comment here to talktothecore@gmail.com from The Real Martha 89.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about this.
Yeah.
Not really. Hey, Core Podcast, I've been watching people play Marvel Snap, and it was immediately looked very familiar to me with the different areas you fight over. I was realizing that Marvel Snap is actually like this tabletop card game I have called Smash Up. I actually own that, but I've never played it. Of course, there are some differences to make the game shorter and more streamlined, but the base mechanics are pretty much the same. I was curious if you guys have played Smash Up. It's kind of cool. It's basically you get a box of 8 20-card themed decks, packs, aliens, ninjas, pirates, zombies, tricksters, wizards, robots, and dinosaurs with guns. You choose 2 decks randomly or with draft or however you want. Shuffle them together and battle with your opponent over bases. If zombies and pirates versus robots and dinos with guns isn't exciting enough for you, they're about to do a 700 expansion boxes, or there are that many, I guess. Maybe you want a werewolf/Power Ranger deck, a princesses/killer plants deck, maybe a truckers/anime girls deck.
Yes.
Or maybe you just want to break the game with a Cult of Cthulhu / Kitty Cat deck. Nope. So far, you got John on all these.
Nope, not the last one.
Oh, well, shit.
I don't want a Cthulhu Kitty Cat deck.
I don't either. The Darkness Rises.
Zero interest in either of those properties.
Great. Well, it turns out you don't have to do them. Anyway, the possibilities technically aren't endless, but it's getting there. They produce expansions more efficiently than I can produce bound movements. Anyway, yours in this life and the next, the real Martha, 89, he says. He or she says. Yeah, I didn't realize this, but this isn't the first time I've heard this. I keep hearing that Snap is basically Smash Up, and I don't know what that says. Maybe that's weird. Maybe that means that Second Dinner phoned it in. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe all games are iterative and basically their mechanics on each other. Maybe we shouldn't have a problem with that. Maybe you do. I don't know. But how do you guys feel? Is it a problem that that there might be a video game that's basically a board game that someone else already made?
No, because much like if you want to support a corporation that doesn't do evil practices and now you can't interact with any corporation, if you want to play a game that's wholly original and not iterative of anything that's come before, you're not going to have a lot of video games you can play.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's fine.
That's a really good point. I think that is the point. Yeah. Well done.
We're all standing on someone else's shoulders.
I mean, like, I'm looking at the cards from that game, and like it literally looks like the Mars Attacks aliens for their Martians. Like everybody's pulling from something.
Everybody is. You're right. All right, I'm gonna be. You know what? You win. You get a Jill.
Jill.
Well, congratulations. Jill. And our listener gets a Barry.
Barry.
So good job, everybody involved. And the Real Martha 89 is not the only person to send us emails. Lots of you do, and if you want to be like them, go to talktothecore@gmail.com to send your emails. You know how email works. You don't have to go there. Just put that address in, talktothecore@gmail.com. And if you're in the mood, join us on Patreon. There's lots of stuff going on over there. I put up a big fat bonus commentary track today from the Games Fest stuff. So there's audio of that up there as well. Plenty more to come, and we love it. So please head on over to patreon.com/core show and sign up today. All right. Oh, frogpants.com/core is our website. You can find everything there. Links to it all. All right. I think that's going to do it. Let's do some quick bits of wisdom. We've had a lot of wisdom today, but let's have a little extra on the tail end here. John, you start.
Hey everybody, John here. Boy, we had a lot of fun tonight. We talked about all sorts of things. Money, and corporations, and poop. That's it.
That's it. We did. You know what? We did talk about those things.
Just a recap today. I have no words of wisdom, just a recap of a couple of topics you got from Core today.
Well done. Oh, and for is it Dan who told me? Someone told me this. Can't remember. Oh, Bobby, if you're listening, we played V Rising, Shipbreaker, Card Shark, Catalyst Black, and John unpacking boxes.
Yep, me unpacking boxes. Actually, not nearly as many as I would have hoped. Yeah. It was a lesson in why I don't like social situations. We had people bring us pizza after we moved in.
Yeah.
Like, we'd just gotten home to unpack, and they brought us pizza, which is a nice gesture. It's very nice.
Very nice.
But then they wanted to stay and hang out, and we got nothing unpacked.
That happens.
And
yep.
Much like my in-laws staying over the weekend, I was not thrilled.
I understand completely. You had a job to do, and you were being hindered in getting that job done.
Yes.
So there's some wisdom there. See, you did it. Wisdom.
I did it. I got to it.
Bo, lay it on us.
I got a few things.
Go.
One is the Cyberpunk Edge Runners anime by Studio Trigger. Got a trailer. Go watch it. It looks awesome.
It does look awesome. I saw that too.
Yeah, the second thing is I wanted to take some time to thank Jeff Keighley for being an all-around great guy and providing all of us with a great summer festival of games. Without him, we wouldn't have it. So thank you, Jeff.
Almost didn't thank Jeff.
I have to do words of wisdom. I know it's a little gauche. Don't mean to put you on the spot, but you were a great guy and a fellow Canadian.
Yeah.
So thank you for just being a wonderful ambassador for video games. The words of wisdom for you, Jeff, and for everyone is when you have to go number 2, raise your hand 2. In any social just remember that means poo, not peace. Yeah. That means poo.
We keep dropping these hints about what happened in the Patreon pre-show, so this is a good reason to get in there and check it because what Bo's talking about now is important stuff. that we covered over there. So make sure you check it out. Sorry, Bo, do you have anything else you want to
Nope, that's it. That's the words.
All right, that's some pretty good words of wisdom. Thank you all for listening. Go play a game, preferably V Rising, because it's awesome. And we'll see you next week.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
Our hunt begins again.